Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Mr. Vice President, I'm going off script again, I know, but I just want to personally thank you. We've been through some stuff. We've gone through some of the most complex military operations this country's ever conducted, and your steady hand and your leadership during those was a great source of strength for me. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your character. Thank you for your selfless service. Thank you for commitment. Thank you for being a mentor to me, Mr. Vice President.
It's called the swamp. And you know what happened? And you know what I did? A big favor. I caught the swamp. I caught them all. Let's see what happens. Nobody else could have done that but me. I caught all of this corruption that was going on, and nobody else could have done it. Did I get that one right? Every 4 years, we gather on these steps to carry out the orderly and peaceful transfer of power. Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning, because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government, while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now. The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
This is a president of the United States who is a danger to the Republic.
America first.
He knows he's an illegitimate president.
The oath of office I take today is an oath of allegiance to all Americans.
The great Trump recovery.
America will never be a socialist country. I will fight for you with every breath in my body.
Russia, Russian, pro-Russian, Russian, Russia, Russian, Russian, Russia, the Russians. Russia,
Russia, Russia, Russia.
And I will never, ever let you down.
A dangerous virus is spreading rapidly in China, and U.S. officials are very worried that it could come here.
This is really the worst attack we've ever had. This is worse than Pearl Harbor. This is worse than the World Trade Center. There's never been an attack like this.
The time for empty talk is over. Now arrives the hour of action. What they're doing is using COVID to steal an election. Together, we will make America strong again. You know what it's about? Fraud, fake ballots. We will make America wealthy again. They are trying to steal the election.
Now, under the leadership of President Trump, we are fully realizing President Kennedy's prescient view of Special Operations Forces.
We will make America proud again. And watch, please, those mail-in ballots. We will make America safe again. And in millions and millions of ballots, their vote is under what they thought they needed. They're dumping more ballots in there, okay? And yes, together, we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you. If we are right about the fraud, Joe Biden can't be president.
Congress, the chair declares the joint session dissolved.
And God bless America.
The calm before the storm.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
Here's the
the moment you've all been waiting for. Here is
Devolution.
With Patel Patriot.
The best is yet to come.
Congrats on this. I like this show. The Power Hour. That's got a good sound to it.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Devolution Power Hour. This is the 250th episode, I believe, of the DPH. That's what we're calling it anyway. How are you two doing, Chris, Patrick?
I'm sore as hell. I spent 5 hours dancing today.
Yeah, Chris?
I did not spend any time dancing.
Neither did I. I do want to, Patrick sent over some stuff, and I think we need to show everybody what you mean by you spent hours dancing. This is your getup. Still wearing the shirt, I see. You look fantastic.
Thank you.
I was kind of hoping you'd wear the full getup on tonight's show, but I get
it. That would be a little much.
And then this was you earlier today. Oh, let me get the music in here too. Look at those moves.
That's right.
Wow.
This is literally like 7 months of dance lessons. And it is a challenge. I remain a double threat, not a triple threat, but it is nice to get thrown to the wolves like that and be forced to just give it a try. And I only screwed up a lot, but less than I normally do because I was under so much pressure.
Good for you, man.
Thanks.
I would never probably do anything like this, so I respect somebody who would. But this is why I titled the episode tonight "Dance in the Moonlight," is because of that video.
Guys, it is quite the art form, and the people who are really good at it, especially the professionals, are very special people.
We're gonna play that song in the background the whole episode.
Sounds like a kind of a lullaby or something.
After a while, but anyway, yeah, tonight's episode, it's gonna kind of be a little random. We have a few stories we do want to talk about and discuss through. We'll see how long it takes us, but because it's the 250th episode, we did want to engage with you guys in the audience a little bit more than we normally do. So if you guys want to start getting your boosts or rants in, and we'll try to pay attention to the chat, and yeah, we'll try to interact with you guys as much as we can. So or answer questions or comment on whatever you guys throw in here. A couple of announcements though first right off the bat. So there is going to be some programming changes to Badlands here. As you guys know, it's a platform. It was originally my Patel Patriot platform, turned it into Badlands. There are some people who weren't they were looking to kind of take things in their own direction, start their own little group project, and we caught wind of it. It was a little incompatible with the way we do things here, and so they are no longer on our platform. We wish them the best. No ill will. Just going to have a clean break. But we're pretty excited on the flip side of this because we finally are going to get the Patrick Gunnels and Chris Paul show 2020 hindsight.
Oh, yeah.
2 days from now. I don't know if you give any context to what the show is going to be about.
Well, I was just, I kind of always play around with kind of working theories in my mind and just see what happens. And one of those is kind of that we're getting in many ways like a narrative replay of 2020, so that a lot of the people who didn't kind of get the message and wake up in 2020 can do it this year on many of the same issues as they like kind of unravel. And so what Patrick and I are going to do is go week by week through the biggest stories of 2020 and kind of look back at them now with this, 4 years of knowledge, putting this all in the past, watching a story like COVID evolve over a few years, or the George Floyd thing and the Summer of Love, Trump at Lafayette Park. There's just all these major stories that have had such an impact then. They probably have, some devolution implications now as we're going to look back and see them. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a retrospective, but kind of just fitting those narratives in where they should have been in 2020.
There was an important moment in 2020, and it's coming up. It's the George Floyd psyop.
Yeah.
I remember where I was when I first heard about the George Floyd psyop. It's one of those things that just really hits you, and everybody bought right into it at once. Mm-hmm. Going back and looking at that thing is going to open a lot of eyes, not just of normies, but of people who are already awake, and they're going to become a lot more awake. You really look at these things in hindsight.
Yeah, very excited about this show, and that'll be premiering Monday at 8 Central, 9 Eastern, correct?
That's right. Right before Baseless Conspiracies.
Right before Baseless Conspiracies. It's going to be awesome. And no, guys, unfortunately, Burning Bright is not one of the ones that is leaving the platform. He is still here for now. So for now is the key word to that. But
he's just too handsome to get rid of.
Well, I don't know if we want to say that. I don't know if I want to say that. I want to scratch that from the record.
Fair enough. Okay. During my little dance thing, I left the studio and ran across the street to grab some bottled water, and I walked in my full getup, and it just didn't occur to me that I had my little headband on, my peace symbol on, and all of it. I do believe I got mistaken for a homosexual.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I can see why. I can 100% see why.
It's one of those things you kind of have to acknowledge that the mistake is understandable.
Do you want to plug your lip gloss quick?
Wait a second.
As a matter of fact, I do not, because I don't have manufacturing capacity.
Oh,
can we talk about how? I don't think it's necessarily like about being a gay man. I think it might be more like being a lesbian cancer patient.
There's a little bit of that going on too.
Oh my god! Oh, I can't unsee that now.
I'm like Archer when he went on his revenge rampage.
Yes, I love Archer.
Was the theme like supposed to be like Woodstock or hippies or something, or did you just?
It was a hippie theme. No, I didn't just say, I feel like dressing like this.
So I'm looking in the background of this picture, and I don't see anybody else looking like a hippie. Really, that kind of.
Trust me, they were everywhere. I mean, look at the girl I was dancing with. She was dressed like a hippie.
Was she?
Yeah. She had the whole,
Oh, I guess.
See, look at those pants, those bell bottoms she's wearing. She just wears it better.
Yeah. Oh man, Patrick. That's why we love you. But okay, before we get into our first story, let's get to our first sponsor, Patrick. How about we do that? EasyRx.
Absolutely. EasyRx. We constantly talk about health and different ways to help and get many questions about ivermectin and where to get it. That's why we've partnered with EasyRx. They have a huge selection of meds at badlandsmedia.tv/EasyRx, or click in the description box below and use promo code BADLANDS for 10% off your order of $150 or more. EasyRx not only has a huge selection, but also quality assurance, big savings, and fast shipping. If you're looking for ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, fenbendazole, then go there today. And don't forget about fenbendazole. They've tested fenbendazole on worms or parasites that can live inside of us without obvious signs and can lead to health complications from bowel obstruction to loss of appetite, loss of weight, anemia, lung infection, and liver congestion. Some people have stated that fenbendazole has even helped them with their cancer. Watch this clip of Joe Tippins' fenbendazole story.
My liver, my pancreas, my bladder, in my bones, it was everywhere.
Joe Tippins says he was told to go home, call hospice, and say his goodbyes. The doctors were unanimous. He was going to die of small cell lung cancer.
Once that kind of cancer goes that far afield, the odds of survival are less than 1%, and the median life expectancy is 3 months.
Tippins says he got a tip, not from a pharmacist, but a veterinarian. And in his desperation, he turned from people medicine to dog medicine. Specifically, fenbendazole.
Truth is stranger than fiction,
Just 3 months later, Tippins says his cancer was gone.
My insurance company spent $1.2 million on me with traditional means before I switched to a $5 a week medicine that actually saved me.
TV/EasyRx, promo code Badlands.
Awesome. And for those wondering, if you guys just follow us on our website and stay tuned to our website where we post our calendar and stuff, you'll get the show updates and which shows are still going to be playing and whatnot. So that is where I would direct you to. But first thing I want to start with here is this. I got to turn that song off. I'm sorry. Okay. Did you guys see this video today of, and I think it's an old video, but people are freaking out about it.
Yeah, I remember this.
You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-cop. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-democracy. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-American. Donald Trump lacked the courage to act. The brave women and men in blue all across this nation should never forget that. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-cop.
Okay.
That's the first time I've seen that.
So everybody's like wigging out about his eyes in this video. He doesn't blink the entire time. He looks kind of on some sort of drugs or something, but I'm pretty sure there is more to it than that. Let me show you this video. There's an app out there called Casablanca, and it's an AI thing where it can make it look like you're looking at the camera when you're really not. Check this out. The top half of this video is the original. The bottom half is what the AI does live. And I'm playing this because I'm pretty sure this is what they're doing with Biden in that clip. And there's no audio to it. So, but look at the difference there. The top.
All right, let me see.
The top, she's looking down, but the bottom, they make it look like she's looking at the camera.
Why? I mean, who would make something like this?
And
I mean, I guess
they,
it's for people like me, but.
And why did they name it White House?
Wait, what?
That's what Casablanca means.
Oh,
was it really?
Oh, good point.
So that's weird. But she's creepy as hell in the bottom video. I can totally. It's why I'm creeped out.
Well, here's their website. I mean, it's what they why is this all in a different language?
This reminds me. I need to start looking at the camera more. Hi guys.
Glaze correction, head alignment, natural glaze breaking, connection, trust building. But it's all about, like, during video calls and Zoom calls, making it look like you're looking at the camera when you're not. That's the whole point of this thing. And so back to this video. Do you think this looks like AI of some sort, maybe?
You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-cop. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-democracy. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-American. Donald Trump lacked the courage to act. The brave women and men in blue all across this nation should never forget that.
Dude, look at his eyes.
Everything about this is
creeping us out.
His eyes, they almost look like they're moving a little bit, but I don't know.
When does he blink?
He doesn't throughout the whole thing.
Okay, how long is this video?
Like 17 seconds, but there's also a splice in the middle. So,
okay.
This is like 3+ years old.
Mm-hmm.
We
but
need
also,
to
like,
do just do a progressive look at the varying faces of the man they call Joseph Robinette Biden.
Let's not get into that debate tonight, the clone debate.
Look at that face. You think you're not going to provoke that debate with this video?
I talked about this. Yeah. I talked about this week on my show. Like okay. Like, let's start at the basics. We know there are body doubles, right? Yeah. There's a movie called Devil's Double about the doubles of Saddam Hussein's kids. That was like a major Hollywood picture. So we know there are body doubles. We know that's a normal thing for world leaders. We can be certain that it's a normal thing for our leaders as well. We've seen knockoff Joe Bidens getting into Ubers, walking down tarmacs. So at the very minimum, there are more than one, right? There could be more than one Trump, by the way. There could be body doubles of Trump. A lot of people think that the one who's always social around all the grifters at Mar-a-Lago is like a Trump substitute, right? So that's the totally normal explanation for why there might be a different one, but not talking on camera and giving official statements. That starts seeming weird once they start doing interviews. But you look at Hillary Clinton, a lot of people will say that there are at least 3 versions of Hillary that are sent out there. And I don't know if that's true or not, but they do look a lot different, man. Something's got to explain that. Plastic surgery, okay, maybe. right? Maybe makeup's a little different. Maybe weight changes or age. I understand there's a lot of totally legitimate explanations that it could be. But now we're entering the world of, and we can leave clones aside. Maybe that's the thing, but I can't totally get there. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But
to leave them aside?
Clones. Yeah, do we really need to engage that possibility? That seems like such an extraordinary.
Yeah, I don't think there's no way that's what's happening here. That's what you're saying.
That's what I think.
Okay, that's what I think too.
I don't even think clones are real.
Yeah, fair enough. So let's just skip on that one. But in terms of AI or CGI, that could totally be happening.
Oh yeah.
Burning Bright and I he brought this up on Story Hour a few weeks back. There's like this AI program that it looked like it was like a drone flying through a city or something like that. All generated by AI, motion, video, all AI, looks totally real. And so how many do we need to see? If they can already do that, and we know they can do that, they can probably do 15 years plus that. And they've probably been showing us that shit for the last 15 years for all sorts of stuff that we think is real.
Noted mega extremist CanCon sent this video over. Mega and Taco Bell extremist. He's a little of both. Sent this over. Let's see what it says here.
Those who have served their time should qualify not only for Pell Grants to earn a degree, but get access to good jobs and training, affordable housing, food and medical benefits, crime, and prevent crime from happening in the first place. And my Safer American Plan is part of my administration's relentless efforts to invest and empower Black communities to be architects of their own future.
Okay, this is like a 30-second clip, and it doesn't look like he blinks one time.
Okay, how many jump cut? Okay. Oh, God.
Man. No cut. I don't think there's any.
There is definitely a jump cut. There's one jump cut at least.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's one.
Aren't those?
Well, it's weird how he was like, his eyes look different between the two cuts. Like he's like squinting in one, and then he's bug-eyed in the other.
And there's not a single damn blink. Guys, I can't go 10 seconds without blinking my eyes without getting uncomfortable.
Okay, look at this. Pre-jump cut, look at his tie. Okay?
Okay.
Maybe it seems like his tie, like there's more of his tie showing in this part than, or is this thing go, no, maybe not. Maybe he's just leaning. I don't know. But what I'm saying is like he took a break between this clip and then he had to like go take a nap and shoot up on some drugs and stuff, and they came back and finished it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, do you think that this creature that we're looking at right now is going to debate Donald Trump?
I don't know. Allegedly, he agreed to the debates, man. And this is kind of a marker, right, for devolution. We've been saying for a long time that it's going to be like a soft Devo proof to have Joe Biden as the candidate, and him accepting these debates, including some that are after the Democratic convention or whatever. Not saying that there can't be a switch in between, because it's possible. I just don't think it's going to happen. But this is like an indicator that he is going to be the candidate. But it doesn't make any sense that he would actually debate Donald Trump. It doesn't matter if it's on CNN with Jake Tapper and Dana Bash and whoever, and it's going to be 3-on-1, and that's only going to help Trump, in my opinion. There's no way you can have the comparison between Trump on stage, who can actually ad-lib and do all this shit, and Biden on stage, and not have the painfully obvious what a joke Joe Biden is. Like, I can't believe they would actually agree to this.
It was painfully obvious in the 2020 debates.
I agree. And it's only going to be worse this time around.
Because Trump, the actor playing him, is doing a great job.
Trump announced today that they were going to do another one too, I think.
I think there's 4 now.
Yeah, there's 4.
No, there's 4 that Trump has agreed to, only 2 that Biden has agreed to.
Is that where it is? I thought that Trump has said that Biden agreed to the Fox one, at least, I think.
I didn't know that.
But today he's talked about the NBC Universal or Univision, NBC Univision debate. So that's going to be, if he puts one in July, because Trump said he wants one every month. So we would have June, July, August, September. And I guess at that point they start the voting. But if he does one in July, there's no way that Joe Biden can be replaced. And it'll be obvious to everybody by that point. And it'll be so funny because they'll have to spend a few days to a week talking about how Joe Biden gave a strong, confident, commanding performance. And then they'll get a bunch of polls that suggest that Trump is doing better than he's ever been doing before, rather than Joe Biden picking up points. They're going to still drop. And then they'll talk about replacing him. And by that time, there's going to be a debate or the convention to go into.
I think that, John, as you said, evidence of devolution. Devolution proof means it's been disposed of. It's been proved. I wouldn't go that far, but I would say it's strong evidence of devolution that the enemy, namely the Democrat industrial complex, the uniparty, whatever you want to call it, has become shockingly retarded. Nobody looking after their own self-interest would nominate this guy. And I think it further makes it look like they're intentionally falling on their own sword because they're going to stick him in a debate. Donald Trump needs to go into that debate and say, Joe, what are you on today? What'd they shoot you up with? Let's watch your drugs slowly wear off.
And that's why we call it a soft devolution proof. It's not like this is something that necessarily proves devolution, but in a dynamic where we believe, and Chris, you always say this really well, like if devolution is taking place, you look for things that kind of match that reality. One of those things is that you have Joe Biden, who is the perfect representation of everything wrong with politics and the corruption and everything that went after Trump and spied on his campaign and all the illegal activity and everything. That's just, in addition to the cherry on top, is how incompetent he is as just a human being. Whether it's real or not doesn't matter. He is being portrayed as incredibly incompetent, can't put a sentence together, and they're still going with this guy. I mean, they could pass off stealing an election for anybody else as long as they have any form of charisma and can put a sentence together. Like Hakeem Jeffries, they could pass off like, oh, Hakeem Jeffries beat Donald Trump because Donald Trump has 90 indictments and everybody hates him, mean tweets. They can't do that with Joe Biden, but they're stuck with him anyway. That's why it's a devolution proof, soft one.
I went through this yesterday on Badlands Daily, and I'm not going to repeat the whole thing, but it seems to me like the strategy is to accept that Donald Trump is going to be the winner, try to discredit and diminish him as much as possible going into that, and he will eventually beat Joe Biden. But they're gonna the importance will be to get uniparty members elected down ballot, and they can do that by electing a whole lot of uniparty Republicans. And we saw big hints of that in the primaries, the fake primaries they had on Tuesday night. In Nebraska, it was like a Republican sweep. None of them are endorsed by the state party GOP or the state GOP because they're all basically uniparty Republicans, and the MAGA Republicans in that state don't like any of them. Well, Nebraska has an abortion measure that's supposed to be on the ballot in the fall. So they'll give us a Trump win. 5 Republicans sweep Nebraska, but oh yeah, they passed a right to abortion in Nebraska. And then in Maryland, they've got Larry Hogan. The other night we were told Harry Dunn lost in the primary, the J6 actor, that big gay giant. And he lost. And Kim Klacik, who was based in Red Pill back in 2020, she won. So those are 2 big primary wins that suggest that their elections are legit and MAGA is ascendant. And then we have lockdown Larry Hogan as the Senate candidate from Maryland. And when he wins a Senate seat in deep blue Maryland, they're going to tell us that the Republicans have had an incredible night and that the elections are very, very legitimate. And Republicans in Maryland are going to believe that, while Democrat Larry Hogan marches into the Senate. And so Donald Trump is going to be there with a subversive uniparty roster in the House and Senate underneath him, subverting him. They're going to preserve the election apparatus. Everybody's going to go back to sleep, and they'll just subvert Donald Trump for 4 years and take uniparty control back over. That is their best case scenario. And we're going to see people on the MAGA side of things clapping along with it because they'll be told Republicans won.
And see, that's, in my opinion, that's worst case scenario. And the reason I say that is even if Trump gets in, and I expect and believe and want Trump to get in there, but be realistic, guys. If Trump gets in there and we don't have any form of election integrity reform or exposure with this election, what good does that do after Trump? Because they're just going to keep going after this, and it's going to continue. We're going to be right back to where we are right now, 4, 8, 12 years from now, if we don't fix our elections. And you can come to me with the argument that, yeah, we can just fix the elections once Trump is in there. He tried to do that last time. He set up the election integrity committee. He got stonewalled everywhere. We need to expose it and fix it right now. Otherwise, we're screwed, because we're going to have a Congress or Democrats, the uniparty. He's going to be fought tooth and nail while in office again. We need it exposed right now. Best case scenario is they try to steal this election for Biden and try to pass it off as if he won, which they cannot get away with. And that exposes everything and results with Trump in there. Just my opinion.
The funny thing would be that if it becomes obvious to everyone that Trump is going to win and they're going to hand it to Trump, if Trump then hands it to them and it's reported that Biden got 95 million votes or something like that, it is going to immediately, yeah, right. It's going to be immediately obvious to everybody. You know, the one area, we've talked about this plenty of times, but one caveat to that approach is that, you know, if there is a way out of this system, and there almost at this point has to be, we're being shown intentionally how illegitimate the system is. And the display in Congress yesterday or Thursday is just further proof of that. But if there's a way out of this system, then it's probably going to require some of the other things that we talk about, and like potentially Bitcoin being one of them. Moving away from a federal government system altogether could be one of them. If that's the sort of thing that happens and Trump is able to just kind of give us the soft landing on that in this second term, no matter what is there, quote unquote, down ballot as a product of rigged elections, you know, maybe it works that way.
I got to play this.
Okay. Ms. Green agrees to strike her words.
I believe she needs to apologize. No.
Perry, okay, hold on. Then after Mr. Perry's going to be recognized, then Ms. Green
I'm not apologizing.
Well,
then
okay,
you're
reserve
not
the right to
striking your
object.
words. I am not apologizing.
Now let's go. Come on, guys.
Why don't you debate me?
Mr. Chairman, the minority.
It's self-evident.
You're not.
Yeah, you're not. You don't have enough
You're out of order.
intelligence.
Chair recognizes Mr. Perry.
Okay, move to strike the. I move to strike the lady's words. I move to strike the lady's words again.
That's two requests to strike. Oh, they cannot take the
There's
words.
another motion to strike her words again. Please
All right.
get
Okay.
your members under
Here's
control.
the correct part. Ms. Green, do you agree to unanimous consent to strike your words?
I repeat again for the second time. Yes, I'll strike
right.
my words, but I'm not apologizing.
Without objection.
Not apologizing.
How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your
Move
feelings hurt?
her words down.
Oh,
girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play.
Baby girl? I don't think
we are going to move and we're going to take your words down.
I second.
These are our elected officials.
Not elected.
Illegitimately elected officials sending all of our money to. That was hilarious, though. Like, that is the most immature,
it's wonderful,
just unprofessional.
That is how these people need to act. I regard this as a sanitizing act on the part of these two patriots, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Marjorie Taylor Greene. They are.
He actually said that. He said that. How dare he say that?
No, and I, without a trace of irony, she is a patriot. She is making Congress look like the clown show that it actually is. Of course, the most honest behavior you could engage in, being a member of that filthy little institution, would be to act just like that.
Yeah.
I love
Baby girl.
This is the sort of government that Thomas Jefferson suggested that we throw off. You know, this is a long series of usurpations. This is, he says it is our right and our duty to throw off an illegitimate government like this and replace it with a form of government that suits the people. Everybody thinks it's like radical to say that. That's our founding history.
Can anybody think of one pro-American thing Congress has done
ever
outside of Donald Trump being in office? I mean, when Donald Trump was in office, you can't even argue with it. He was the most pro-American president we've ever had. If you go through his executive orders and executive documents, he was extremely pro-American. He was fought by Congress on some level, but outside of Trump, what has Congress done that has been pro-America? I can't think of a single fucking thing.
Good God, not in my lifetime.
Every single thing they have done has been intentionally to steal money and destroy the Constitution. Those are the only goals.
It's absolutely remarkable. We went into 2017 with Donald Trump as president and Republican majorities in both the House and Senate.
Yep.
And then all they had to do was vote yes on a wall. And they were like, no, because $5 billion is just too much for us to spend. We will, however, send the exact amount that we said no on the wall. We're going to send that exact amount to Israel just to let you know that you're just a dirty, filthy little bitch.
What's the was that in the bills and everything too?
I think they put it in the law.
Does anybody know the amount we've actually sent to Ukraine to this point? Is there like a running total?
11 gajillion.
11 gajillion. Okay, so because it is pretty remarkable to think that Trump was only asking for $5 billion. I mean, not only, that's still a shit ton of money, but comparatively speaking to the amount of money that we've sent to Ukraine to fight a war that Zelensky says, like, Zelensky's now blaming the rest of the world at this point for them losing that war. He's blaming us for not sending more money. I don't know if you guys saw that. Let me see if I can find it. He's like pissed off. Oh, I'm never going to be able to find this.
I think it's funny that the only time Congress suddenly develops a conscience about fiscal integrity is when it comes to protecting American borders.
Here we go.
Oh my. From Zero Hedge. Okay, so you want me to read that, or are you going to play the video?
Yeah, go ahead and read it.
All right.
And then we'll
Zelensky says it's the world's fault that Russia is gaining. In a rare personal visit of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to the battlefield, particularly to the war-ravaged country's northeastern Kharkiv Oblast, he blamed Russia's rapid advance on the world for not sending enough weapons. Ukraine's front lines in the region have been collapsing amid a major new Russian cross-border offensive. Brigades are not totally equipped because of the package, which we waded through for 8 months, he told ABC News during the visit. He was referencing the delayed $61 billion Ukraine aid package, which was recently passed and signed into effect by President Biden. Bro, $61 billion, and that's just their latest walking around money.
I'll just read this. We don't have to play the video because I doubt it's
Journalist,
in English.
what's happening in Kharkov now? Is this America's fault? It is the fault of the world. I mean, it's everyone's fault that all the money allocated for defense fortifications has been lost in the pockets of all these Ukrainians responsible for building it.
It's remarkable.
It definitely is the rest of the world's fault. I mean, this is what it means to have a global regime proxy state. They have no ability to support themselves. It's not a real country. Like, it's basically like, if you guys want to maintain this proxy state, you all better come in and fight it, because we're basically out of Nazis.
It's insane, but we keep sending money anyway.
They say they have to raise like a 500,000 person army. They need like 500,000 recruits, and there's zero.
Yeah, and I can't wait for Trump to get in there and end this war like immediately.
Yeah, I still, in the back of my head, I have this thought that the actual wars that we're being told about right now took place circa 2018, 2019.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
All this is already over.
You mean they fought a war in Ukraine in 2018 and we didn't hear a thing about it?
Yep. And now they're just making that same war up and having smirking actors playing Ukrainians pretend to be at war.
See, that's the kind of stuff that would be difficult for me to get behind. Like I can get on board with the Ghost in the Machine stuff, but to fight an entire war and not have anybody come forward about it happening, with how many people would need to be involved in that?
Well, it depends. Maybe if the war's taking place underground.
Well, so Ukraine, that situation in particular, at least in the Donbass, was already the site of a war, essentially.
Color revolution, right?
Well, in Kyiv there was that Kyiv, but there was an ethnic civil war being waged in the Donbass for like 10 years against people of Slavic ethnicity, like Russian-speaking people in that eastern part of Ukraine, which is now just Russia. I mean, Vladimir Putin, somebody reminded me this the other day, but he said at the beginning of that operation that it was basically just like a police operation.
It was a denazification effort.
Well, there definitely was that, but he described the whole thing as basically just a police effort. And that's what we kind of theorized at the beginning, is that they were just going to be going in and clearing out regime assets, people, facilities. They've had control of Ukrainian power plants for the entire time. How does something like that happen if we're having a real war? You know, I don't know if what Patrick just suggested is exactly right. And I would expect that he would say, I don't know if this is exactly right either. But yeah, it's something that you have to at least consider. We're getting so much bullshit all the time. These stories are just covers for obviously something else. We're being told about everything we need to know to accept the new reality once it is fully shown.
It's true. You know, when you think about what Q told us, Q said, look, we can't just tell people the truth. It would literally kill them. So here's the way we're going to do this. All you autistic weirdos who just see the truth way before normal people do, you're going to be the messengers for this stuff.
So is the argument for that, because I kind of disagree with that approach. Like, I think if you know the truth, you should say it outright. But it almost seems like they treat it like you need to detox from it, like slowly wean yourself off of something. Same thing with the truth. Like, you need to wean yourself off the mainstream media and wean yourself onto the truth so that you don't like just go through a horrible withdrawal and die or something. Is that kind of like the justification?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, look at what we're learning to think the opposite about, right? Russians, terrorists, you know, basically everyone in the Middle East, because we were raised through the last 20 or 30 some odd years to think that Israel is our only ally, our greatest ally in the world, our only ally in the Middle East, and everyone else around there is a terrorist trying to harm Israel or someone we can buy oil from. That had to be reversed. The thing about Israel being our greatest ally has to be reversed. Same with the UK, by the way. I hope people are going to figure that one out, that Britain is not our ally. None of these countries are our allies. We have to understand that, you know, little rocket man in North Korea is not trying to nuke us. These are things that have taken way too long. They weren't just going to be able to like put on a newscast. I don't even know what that means. Put on a newscast and have Donald Trump go up there and be like, hey guys, we're not enemies with North Korea and Iran and Russia and China and Saudi Arabia anymore. And we're not friends with Israel and Ukraine and the UK anymore. Canada is actually a communist nation. You know, that's not like the sort of thing you can just get up on television and say and have everybody be okay with.
And you know what? It's interesting too, because I don't think you can disclose any of that unless you go through a situation where you have Trump walk away from the office and have what we've been living through these last few years. Like the disclosure that we've gone through has been one of experience. Like, you're living it and you're slowly waking up to all this bullshit in real time. And it's not something that we could have done while Trump was in office, which makes the whole thing even more of a mind fuck. Like, how long ago was this shit being planned? Because it does really seem like this is the only way that it could have ever gone down, is for Trump to have the election stolen from him and him walk away, leaving some sort of controls in place. We don't know the full extent of which, but they're there. And this is what we're living through in the meantime.
Yeah. And
So
I think
go ahead, Patrick.
there's one other thing, John, and I want to address this to everybody in the audience who thinks to themselves, you can't have a war and no one come forward. You know, they always come forward. People come forward. People come forward like crazy. You just don't hear from them because the mainstream medias of the world are too damn powerful. Even when someone does go forward, someone comes forward, they get a video out on YouTube, it gets taken down. Fine, they get the video out on BitChute, but BitChute's just where all the anti-Semites go. People can come forward like crazy, and it doesn't friggin' matter.
There's definitely that part of it. Another aspect, Patrick, to consider, to toy with the idea that you're suggesting. One of the things that then happens is you realize that if these are just all disclosures now about stuff that happened before, and I think most of the breaking news that we see, I've pointed this out many times, you'll see breaking news and it's always about stories that happened years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. We're going through Donald Trump stories that are 7, 8, 9 years old a lot of the time. When you erase all that stuff from the news, when you remove everything that has been around for more than a few weeks, there's nothing really left. Like there are weeks, this week, for instance, seemed like a huge news week. Everybody was like, all this drama about the Trump trials. And what else really was there? Putin and she met. That's important. There were some other things, I guess, that happened. But if you remove everything from like that is about stuff that happened a few years ago, there wasn't that much that we got told about. And so, some people call it this pause period. Man, if you don't at least consider it and look for signs of that being true, I think you're maybe missing an important dynamic about the way this is playing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I struggle with some of the things because I don't know. Like I go back and forth between the source documents, what you can verify is true, and the like everything is fake. It's why I love the dynamic between the two power hours, because it's like this power hour is completely different than the one on Wednesdays, and they're both great for their own reasons. But like stuff like a war taking place in 2018, even if it's true, okay. It is being disclosed now for a specific reason. What good does it do to even like discuss the fact that, maybe this actually did happen in 2018 when there's really no proof that it did?
Well, I mean, there's not immediate proof available right now. That stuff is going to kind of lock into place as we look back on it, getting more information in the future. I don't have any problem going to source documents. It turns out that a lot of the stuff we get is years and years after it actually happened.
For sure.
I mean, we're watching congressional hearings right now that are telling us stuff that was already reported in open source publications years ago.
Yeah.
So who's that for, and what timeline is it on? Because when Fox News says it to normies, they say breaking news. This came out. This was disclosed in congressional testimony today. Okay, it was also disclosed in just normal independent journalism outlets 3 years ago.
You're also describing Michael Sheldenberger quite fantastically.
Exactly.
Breaking news, something that was reported by independent journalists 3 years ago.
When we found out about it, it was probably old. When he calls it breaking news, you need to carbon date it. By the way, carbon dating's fake.
I was like, Patrick, what?
Yeah.
I do want to keep going on this discussion, though, because we are in a narrative war, an information war. And so I think some of the stuff is important in terms of how we perceive our news. But I still think there has to be a level of like stuff you can verify. If you can't, I mean, a war in 2018, there's not even like, I haven't seen a single person come forward discussing that being the case, except for you mentioned that, Patrick, is the first I've ever heard of this war took place actually in 2018. We're just getting the stories of it now. But before we do any of that, I do want to get to our next sponsor.
Absolutely. Are you concerned about the $6 trillion at stake in the upcoming 2024 election? The Wall Street Journal has reported a critical issue: the looming decision on extending tax cuts scheduled to expire after 2025. Republicans advocate for extending Trump's tax cuts while the Democrats lean towards letting them expire and increasing taxes on top earners and corporations, potentially creating a massive $6 trillion gap. But fear not. There's a way to protect yourself from this impending threat. Join the thousands of hardworking Americans who are taking proactive steps to safeguard their savings. Visit badlandsgold.com to claim your free 2024 gold and silver kit and fortify everything you've worked for. You may even qualify for up to 10% back in bonus silver, but hurry, supplies are limited. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Act now to diversify and shield your savings against the uncertainties ahead. Get your free 2024 gold and silver kit today at badlandsgold.com and take control of your financial destiny. Guys, for the love of God, silver is almost at $32. It's going to be the biggest short squeeze in human history. Go to badlandsgold.com. It's financial advice right there.
Well, no, it's not.
No, it's not. That's what I meant to say.
It's definitely not financial advice. I just like to clarify and disavow anything Patrick ever says, period. That was not financial advice. But yeah, go to badlandsgold.com and explore your options. Reach out to Goldco, and I would get your gold and silver. It's at 31.77 right now, which is like the highest it's been in 3 some years. And I don't know.
I'm telling you, dude, there is a short squeeze about to happen on literally one of the most important physical assets that exists in the world.
Well, okay, explain short squeeze. Like, what do you mean? You think it's just going to keep going up?
Yeah. So basically, they're selling more silver than exists. And there's way more paper silver than there is real silver. And there is enormous shorting. Shorting is when you borrow a commodity that you don't currently own with the expectation that its price is going to massively drop. You pay back the loan. You pay back. You give back the silver that just dropped in price, and you pocket the difference.
Yeah, you buy it. You buy it here. You expect it to go down.
You don't buy it.
You borrow it here. You sell it down here. Pay back, and then you keep the profit.
Something like that. Anyway, the point is, it's placing a bet that the price is going to drop precipitously, but you do it with a quantity of that commodity that you do not possess, and so that you do not own. And so if the price goes way up, there is absolutely no ceiling on how much money you can lose.
Because you have to rebuy, you have to buy at whatever price the market demands all the full quantity of what it is you borrowed and already sold.
Yes. Yep. So just imagine. So there's a $30 ounce of silver that you have. It's a coin right here. And if, let's suppose you buy it for $30, silver goes to zero. All right. That won't happen, but silver goes to zero. You just lost $30. Okay. Now, let's say you do a short on silver at $30 with the expectation that it's going to drop so you can pocket the difference. But then silver goes to $1 trillion. Seriously, there is no cap on how much money you can lose.
I would just like to remind everybody this is not financial advice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this. I think the silver price, and just like every price, our entire stock market, our entire financial economy is completely artificially manipulated. Like it's all fucking fake and gay. That's we can talk about how fake and gay that is if you'd like. But
isn't it weird that there's just another part of our society that just so happens to be a complete and total fraud in every imaginable way? They figure out how to sell bets on fraud.
The derivatives thing is such a scam. I mean, how it reminds me of the movie The Big Short, right? Exactly. Which is one of my favorite movies. Have you guys done that on Story Hour yet?
We have, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. It's a fantastic movie. But how have we not like hit that breaking point yet? Because I feel like everything is beyond that limit now, more so than it was back in 2008.
Well, we have the ability to suddenly discover weapons of mass destruction in countries that don't want to use our financial system. We can keep the scam going for a really long time because we have the most terrifying military the world has ever known.
Well, we are told that is true.
Yeah, so true.
I mean, that is one of those things that we as Americans take for granted, but
Yeah,
we also took for granted that we are the freest nation on earth.
Well, what do you guys think is more important? So this is something that I go back and forth with a lot just in my own mind because of the stuff G Money says. Because to me, the most important thing to fix is election integrity, because I think you can fix everything else once you fix that. But there, you know, it's the financial stuff. It's the economics. It's our dollar or whatever we use to transact. You know, then they say Bitcoin. But what do you guys think is more important?
Once again, I agree with G Money. The currency is more important than the elections. They're both important, but if, as Nathan Rothschild said, you give me control of the currency, I don't care who makes your laws.
You can see that in play now too. You know, if we win the elections and the currency's not fixed, we still lose. If we lose the elections and the currency is fixed, then the elections don't matter. So, you know, you got to take the red pill and figure out like what politics means and how much we've been lied to about what our world actually looks like. And then after that, it's fix the money and find God, because the rest of it at that point is just trying to defeat evil, because there's just so much of it everywhere. But, you know, again, a big part of that is the money.
I just don't know how you fix the money unless you fix the elections first. Like you need.
Well,
this is where the biggest debates between me and G Money came. Like I'm 100% on board and in agreement with G Money and them. I just differ on the timing of things. That's the only thing that's different. And I think that it has to play out in a certain order where election fraud is exposed. That results in Trump getting back in our elections being fixed. We actually get a full America First Congress, and then we fix everything after that. But they think it's like, well, we got to fix our money and get onto a Bitcoin system. And then from there, everything else can flow. I just don't see how it happens if we have these evil people in office.
You don't need the government to. I'm not just talking about Bitcoin. I'm talking about just digital money in general.
Mm-hmm.
We have the ability to tell the government to go screw themselves and literally just transact with each other in freaking silver if we want to. Problem with silver is we can't send it over the internet, but we can defect from their financial system without a single vote being cast.
Okay, no, that's actually not true. I wanted to get a Ford Bronco Badlands. I came across one at a dealership, and I said, "Would you accept silver for part of the payment for this?" And they wouldn't do it, and so I didn't end up getting it. But
it does require them to take the silver.
But it's a legal tender, right? So shouldn't they be like forced to take it if that's what I'm paying with?
I mean,
bullshit.
Why would they bother following that part of the law or the Constitution?
Well, I don't know. It's a dealership. Like, I figured money's money to them.
Well, the reason they don't take your silver is because the dollar hasn't collapsed yet, and we can accelerate the collapse of the dollar, but we can't precipitate it instantaneously. But it's coming. It has to. The whole world is waking up to, oh my God, we have been enslaved by these ridiculous clowns now for forever because of this dollar thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, there are a few more stories I want to get to before we kind of go through rants in the chat and stuff. One of them is, where's it at? Okay, this one was weird to me. And so I don't necessarily know if this is fully devolution related, but it kind of could be. I'll explain why. Let's read through some of this article first.
NOTAM sparks confusion over possible Russian hypersonic missile test off of California coast. There's been quite a stir on X as some users speculate that a NOTAM, or Aviation Notice to Airmen, suggests a potential Russian Navy hypersonic missile test off the coast of Southern California. However, that's not the case. According to The War Zone, the NOTAM is actually in anticipation of a Russian space booster splashing down in the Pacific. Let's begin with the misguided hype on X about the threats of Russian missile testing off the California coast. These posts collectively have generated more than 1 million views. From the new Area 51 on Twitter, Russian Navy rocket gun missile firing starts this afternoon off the coast of California and Baja until the 26th in international waters. Shouldn't really affect any flights going to from Hawaii. The Russian Federation plans to conduct rocket firings. Impact area within the Oakland, something like that.
Keep going. There's a few posts like this. But this is what the defense officials said.
Meanwhile, 2 defense officials told TWZ, the war zone, that the NOTAM is in place through May 26th because of the re-entry of a, quote, Russian space launch booster. It is not for a launch or a military exercise, the officials said, commenting on the social media hype.
And I want to show, this is the actual NOTAM. Oh, shoot. The guy deleted it. What the hell?
Yeah.
I wonder if I can look at this picture. Damn it. Never mind. Because somebody had posted the actual NOTAM text. Well, yeah, I guess this is it right here. The following restrictions are due to the Russian Federation rocket firing impact area. So I guess you could see that both ways. But I thought this was an interesting story just because, I mean, people online were going nuts like, oh my gosh, why is Russia testing a rocket so close to the United States? But then they're correcting the story saying it's just a rocket landing there from outer space. Can they control where these rockets land? Because like, how do they confirm that this stuff doesn't land over the United States?
They're all built to sniff out where the Bermuda Triangle is.
And by the way, that's not a joke. They're not sending rockets to space because space doesn't exist. They are sending the rocket up and it splashes back down in a place that nobody sees. It's just
okay, but
watch them in fast motion. They always move parabolically.
Okay, but let's approach this argument as if space does exist and the stories they're telling us are real, that they send these rockets out there, they orbit for a while, and eventually they fall back to Earth and they crash somewhere. How do we know they're not going to land over? Like, how do we know a Russian rocket isn't going to just land over the United States? And then how do we know it's not going to be like, oh, yeah, there's actually a nuke on board that rocket that just landed over the United States? Like, can they control that at all?
Killer. That's a bunch of fake shit. Let me think.
Well, it could be a fake narrative they go with.
Yeah. Okay. So a scare event, I would think of this Zero Hedge story as possibly being a comm. It's a space booster splashing down in the Pacific. That could mean a whole bunch of things. I think that there's lots of comms in these things. I'm just not very good at decoding them.
Chris, do you have any comment? Otherwise, I do have another interesting.
I would say the same thing. I think that, one of the potential false flags that we might see, I think that they have a few events that they're probably going to attempt to get everybody back on the same page and believing the official story whenever it comes out. That's the only hope they have. So one of those things could be an attack staged on American soil. That wouldn't surprise me. And I'm not saying that it would be a completely false thing. They might actually do something kinetic. I imagine it would be in a mostly unpopulated area near a military base, and they might call it a nuke. I could imagine all that stuff happening. None of it will be real, but
you can totally fake a nuke.
They just came out with the story the other day that Iran has a nuke now, which they were seeding that narrative for a while. But the U.S. State Department did just issue worldwide caution alert for Americans. We can read through this quick, and this kind of goes in line with what you were saying, Chris.
Wow. U.S. State Department issues worldwide caution alert for Americans. The U.S. Department of State on Friday issued a worldwide caution alert for U.S. citizens to remain alert for possible terrorist attacks or other violent actions against Americans. In a security alert posted on its website, the agency said the warning was sent because of the potential for terrorist attacks, demonstrations, or violent actions against U.S. citizens and interests. Americans who were overseas, it added, are encouraged to use increased caution. The Department of State said it also is aware of the increased potential for foreign terrorist organization-inspired violence against LGBT people, echoing a statement issued by the FBI and Department of Homeland Security earlier this week that terrorist groups such as ISIS could target Pride Month-related events in June. Stay alert. You want to stop?
Yeah, kind of, because this feels to me, I don't know. I feel like because they've been doing their best to label MAGA a terrorist organization, an extremist organization. I feel like they're going to spin this into some sort of like Trump supporters have been attacking LGBTQ people, and this is like their seeding of that narrative. They said ISIS in the thing, but I don't know, man. This seems the State Department being involved in stuff like this just makes me feel like it's not.
Of course,
they're going to do some shit.
Yeah, the State Department's up to something.
And blame
I
Trump.
think something big is coming.
I agree.
And I know that that's such a vague thing to say, but I remember 2020. I want to say I remember 2020 better than most people. And just when I thought Donald Trump really had beaten them, they came out with COVID. I did not see that coming. There's going to be something else that we did not see, and it's going to be manufactured. It's going to be horrible, and it's going to make people freak out.
Well, I mean, that's certainly the intention. The way to make sure that you see things like this coming, to talk these things out and figure them out. I can imagine that a lot of people who are Trump supporters, maybe Q followers, maybe follow Devolution, would have had an entirely different reaction to the initial reporting on the Israel incident, for instance, if it had not been for considering what all of that really means. Even just the phrase saving Israel for last kind of thing. That tells people, hey, there's something to anticipate with this. And it's not going to be what you've been accustomed to in your last 20 years of watching Fox News. This story, by the way, produced one of the most offensive and not to me, but and funniest memes. Just 10 out of 10 joke writing. I don't know. Maybe we
say it.
I just sent it to you in text.
Shit.
So the post millennial put up a post on X, formerly Twitter, that says FBI warns ISIS could attack pride parades amid Biden's border crisis. And an account called Ramsey Paul.
I know that guy. He used to, yeah, okay.
So he quote tweeted and said, "I don't care. I still want the border closed." Like that it was an advertisement for leaving the border open, that ISIS might come in and attack pride parades.
Excellent sales pitch. However,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
I love it.
But yeah, man, I don't know. They've been seeing this narrative. I think it's going to be more infrastructure related stuff to do with the election, but I think they're going to postpone it because that's what they're freaking doing in Ukraine. Let me see if I can find that story.
The Ukraine isn't a country.
Okay.
It's a region.
They do
whatever.
Well, let's think about it, right? The area that they are saying is the Ukraine, or is Ukraine, where this war is being fought, all of those people have voted in Russian presidential elections. They voted in referenda to become Russian. That is what international law says. That's Russia. Crimea is Russia. It's not Ukraine. So whatever war has been fought in Ukraine isn't even fought in Ukraine. That's one part of it. They're not going to have a president in 2 more days. I mean, how many signs do you need that this isn't a country?
Well, let's read through a little bit of this, and then I have a video from Anthony Blinken to play.
What does that mean for his country?
Volodymyr Zelensky's presidential term expires on May 20th. What does that mean for his country? Leaders, 5 more years? So their terms are 5 years long? Oh boy, this is going to be one of those pieces. Abraham Lincoln won a presidential election in Civil War-torn America in 1864, and FDR secured his 4th term in 1944 while American troops were in action across the globe. Winston Churchill, by contrast, avoided the electorate until the war in Europe was over in 1945, at which point he was turfed out.
They left out Donald Trump implementing devolution. By the way, we can only read down to here because I will never subscribe to this. So,
dude, just copy the link.
Oh, come on.
Takes 2 seconds.
Okay, I'll do that. Just keep reading then.
Holding an election when enemies are occupying your territory or raining bombs on it, and when huge numbers of your citizens are away fighting, is tricky. Not holding one is tricky in a different way. Holding those in power to the charge of illegitimacy. That is the bind that Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, finds himself in as his 5-year term expires on May 20th. He cannot hold elections now, but he must prepare to hold them eventually.
This war is to protect democracy, we were told, at least.
Well, and that's what's so mind-blowing about this is like, why can't they hold elections now? Like the United States, allegedly we have voting for our military service members while they're overseas or whatever, right? So they should be able to vote. Like the infrastructure we've been told is there for military people to vote. Why can they not implement that in Ukraine? And this is what Blinken says. Let me play this video.
Working with the government and civil society groups to shore up Ukraine's election infrastructure. That way, as soon as Ukrainians agree the conditions allow, all Ukrainians, including those displaced by Russia's aggression, can exercise their right to vote. People in Ukraine and around the world can have confidence that the voting process is free, fair, secure. Working with the government and civil society.
Insane.
Ukraine is a clown world fiefdom. They're the real rulers. If I'm not mistaken, Victoria Nuland just decided on the phone, hey, we're gonna have this creep be the new president of Ukraine, referring to Poroshenko or whoever. But anyway, Ukraine's constitution is confusing. Article 103 states that the president is elected for a 5-year term, but Article 108 says that he or she exercises power until a new president is inaugurated.
So they're doing it by the book.
Long-standing law, though not a constitutional provision, says that elections cannot be held when martial law is in force, as it has been in Ukraine since Russia began its full-scale invasion in February 2022. Russian propagandists
Badlands
will crow that Mr. Zelensky is illegitimate after May 20th, tactfully ignoring the pantomime of Vladimir Putin's re-election earlier this year. Ukraine's Western backers and most jurists insist that Mr. Zelensky's position is nothing to worry about. In Kiev, though, president's enemies mutter that the situation is untenable, and there are rumors of senior resignations, or even, though this seems fanciful, of a coup. This person writes like a novel, like a novelist.
Who is this?
That's all they ever do, Patrick. It's so fun to read them as if they are like romance novels.
Right? No byline. Isn't that nice?
By the way, it's also worth noting all the instances that the media tells us kind of what their strategies and justifications are for canceling elections, for doing things like this. And following the elections that they hold around the world, they communicate about all of these in the same ways. It's always just a series of stories and justifications. If they want to say that, if Volodymyr Zelensky's, presidency was someone, if he was Viktor Orban, for instance, all of this would be cause for the international community to bomb the shit out of them. But since he's the good guy and they need Ukraine, all of his stuff is justified somehow. They have a long-standing law that says that you can't hold an election under martial law. So Zelensky canceling the elections is actually just him following the law. These are the sorts of excuses they will always make, and they will make them for Joe Biden too.
Okay, so two things I want to note here. One, there's nobody credited as to writing this article, which is weird. But number two, like in my opinion, since day one, if Russia wanted to just wipe Ukraine off the map, they probably could have done so in a week. Like they could have mowed through Ukraine and got this whole thing over with within a week, and maybe even let's say a month. Okay, let's be conservative and say a month. They probably could have done this whole thing in a month. It's been years.
Do what though?
Just whatever their goal. Let's just say their goal is to wipe out all of Ukraine, as NATO and the United States has said their goal is, and then to continue on into the rest of Europe. If that's what they actually wanted to do, they've had the military capability to do that at any point here. but they haven't flexed that muscle. So why Russia has been dragging this out just as much as Ukraine has been.
It's very true. And to what end?
I think for Trump to be the peacemaker, that's my thought about it. But I don't know, or maybe there's still more they're doing. But I feel like they've accomplished their goal. They probably accomplished the goals that they were trying to accomplish, which was the denazification of Ukraine. They told us they probably accomplished the majority of that, or maybe it was biolab shit. I don't know, but they probably did that within the first couple of weeks or month or so, and they've just been waiting essentially ever since. Because it doesn't make sense that they haven't gone all the way through yet and had the peace negotiations. Doesn't make sense.
Here's another data point that I like to consider when it comes to good guy, bad guy, Russia, etc. Russia demanding that Rumble pull stuff down. I don't know if that's an accurate portrayal of it, but Rumble certainly said that they did. And I'm wondering, what was it that Rumble was trying to get? What was it that Russia was trying to get them to take off of Rumble? And if the story is exactly as I was told, then good on Rumble for telling Russia no. That's fantastic. But I'm wondering, why would Russia attempt to engage in any kind of censorship when we have, proxy censorship, when we've had Vladimir Putin in his interview with Tucker Carlson say, look, I'm not going to try to compete with the United States on info war.
Yeah, let me see if I can find that tweet.
The propaganda aspect, at least.
Yeah, because it's pretty good propaganda to make us truthers think that Russia's been going after one of the only well-funded platforms for video hosting.
It says right here, this is from Chris Pavlovsky, the CEO of Rumble, said Russia has officially blocked Rumble because we refuse to comply with their censorship demands. Ironically, YouTube is still operating in Russia, and everyone needs to ask what Russian demands Google and YouTube are complying with. But I guess we didn't get any further information about what they blocked or why.
Yeah, it's just kind of, it was very vague. So Russia might want them to block. I just don't know. I'm curious. I kind of want to ask Russia.
Pavlovsky had an interesting tweet at the beginning of the week about how DJT was the only major client of the Rumble cloud service. But there is another one. It's the campaign, I guess we can call it, of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. So it's Trump and RFK Jr., the clients on the Rumble cloud. And I suspect that we will eventually see TikTok pulled under that in some form or another.
Maybe that's an interesting thing too. I don't know, the cloud. I mean, it's a great idea. It's a great competitor to Amazon, but to see how far they can actually take this thing and who does come into the fold. Like if TikTok came onto the Rumble cloud service, somebody would have to buy them in order for them to make that switch first.
Yeah, probably like the guy Jeff Yass, who already owns them and also owns DJT.
Yeah,
or potentially Steve Mnuchin, who was there when Trump originally put this TikTok policy into place.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I can't find anything about
that Odyssey reply. By the way, is really interesting too.
Which one?
It says this is that one.
Okay, this is super unfortunate. We are building tech that Odyssey and Rumble will be able to use that will prevent any country from banning them.
We used to stream to Odyssey.
We could stream to Odyssey tomorrow if you want. There's nothing stopping us.
You're right. Maybe we will start doing that again.
And I don't want to be mean. Just nobody friggin' watches it.
Yeah.
It's too bad too.
Yeah.
It's good to know it's out there though, and it's good to establish because we're going to find out a lot in the next 6 months about the state of censorship. I don't rely on any particular platform. I hope that they all stay up, especially Substack and Rumble. They've been wonderful platforms, Telegram and Truth Social as well. But you just never know. I mean, Truth Social, I know, is not going anywhere. I can't imagine Telegram is. I don't think Rumble is. But
Yeah, and this is something that it's obviously concerning as kind of a media platform. Like what happens, in the lead up to the election. We know YouTube is already banning accounts over in Europe. I think 30-some thousand videos were taken down in Europe off of YouTube. We are trying to get back onto the YouTube game, so we do have people watching on YouTube right now. We actually have 2 YouTube channels. We have our regular Badlands Media channel, and we have created a Badlands Media Clips channel, and we're going to try to get into the short game to see if we can again reach a wider audience. We're going to try to get into TikTok. We're doing our best to grow organically, but again, it's nearly impossible to do so. And
TikTok has its own little Eye of Sauron that just shuts you down, and it's so
weird though,
effective.
Because I've had friends show me like very conspiratorial TikTok videos, very similar to some of the stuff that we discuss, but not quite as far, or maybe not quite as I don't know what the best way to describe it as, but very, very conspiratorial, and they get millions and millions of views. Somehow they get through the algorithm, but we get on there, and we were going for like a month, and didn't even we were pretty PC about some of the stuff we were saying, and we got booted off, and allegedly it's because we said the retard too many times. That's the word. That's what they told us.
Whatever. They just need a reason. They're not going to give you the real one.
Well, that's definitely true. I would also assume that we probably have big black marks on our permanent record, and going in, there's just other triggers being set off.
Oh, for sure.
Blake Johnson says John ignores the YouTube feed and expects it to grow. Think again, John. I don't ignore the YouTube feed. We upload multiple videos, and we're starting to upload more, but YouTube doesn't allow us to grow there, man. That's the problem.
Until you're actually in this business, you can't fully appreciate how effective the suppression algorithms are.
And honestly, guys,
YouTube's algorithm knows if I have a zit on the right side of my nose. It is sophisticated.
And honestly, guys, Rumble has been great to us. It's been the best platform to us. But Rumble has their little boys club of like they have their favorite content creators that get all the promotions and all the things. Like we can only go so far with Rumble's assistance there too. Like that, we literally rely on our audience to grow as organically as possible. I would probably say that Badlands Media is one of the most organically grown channels that exist. Like we've been almost fully just self-sufficient and grown based on you guys in the audience sharing us to your friends. Like that is how we've grown from day one. Haven't gotten as much help as like some of these other accounts that we won't go into details, but it's everywhere. Rumble has been great, and I think they're making all the right decisions, and I don't think we're going to get allowed to grow organically in any fashion on any platform until after the election. And there's good reason for that. I hope somebody explains it to me someday. But it's everywhere. It's just everywhere.
Go ahead, Patrick.
I just want to say on that note, smash that thumbs up, guys. Yeah. Let's see if we can hop back into that #1 spot. I'm sure that the Wildwood Rally beat us, but was that last week? I don't know.
Yeah,
with that attitude.
Someone asked me on my live stream the other day about what it would take, like why there aren't more young viewers, and I was like, they get corralled into Ben Shapiro's diner and they get stuck there. They at a certain age, you want to like feel connected to popular culture, and until the popular culture moves past that, if people who are connected to pop culture continue believing that like Ben Shapiro and Joe Rogan and like Tucker Carlson and Dave Rubin are edgy or conservative or into like telling people the truth, I don't know what to say, man. I mean, that they get stuck there because nobody's telling them, oh, this is the cool thing. So,
and like maybe you guys don't understand what I'm saying, but like when it comes to Rumble, they have their featured videos on their homepage. Like if somebody just goes to rumble.com and maybe they're going there for the first time and they want to figure out what to watch, right? There's a group of videos that you see on the main page that are the featured videos. And so that's probably where you're going to start, unless you're going there looking for somebody specifically. If you're just going to find content randomly at Rumble, you're going to go rumble.com and you're going to get shown a bunch of videos. Badlands Media does not end up on any of those videos unless I text. I have people that I know there that I text like, hey man, can you throw this video up on the feature videos? Then we'll get up there. We never naturally get on the main feeds. None of them. And guys, we were, according to Stream Charts, we were a top 7 Rumble channel in quarter number 1 of 2024, which, I mean, that's a pretty big deal, especially with the names that were up there. But that's hardly ever being featured on their main page. And when we had to text them to be like, hey, let us on. And they would, like, they comply. I don't want to be the hagging guy who's like, hey man, put us on the feed every freaking show. I can't do that. I won't do that. But this is what I'm saying. Like we grow because of you guys in the audience, and we're very appreciative of that. But it's everywhere.
Yeah. That's a really good point. You know, we really do rely on you guys, and we are growing a little bit here and there. I also think it's important to note that this platform, mostly Rumble here, it's still in terms of population, just a sliver of what YouTube is. It is barely scratching the surface of what YouTube has, what Google has. Google is a tyrannical monopoly, no question about it. And you know, as Burning Bright likes to say, they get defeated slowly and then all at once.
We should start referring to all of that as government-approved content.
Yeah, it's really good. And then there's government-approved truth content. And then there's government-approved debunkers of truth content. Yeah. It's amazing. Their control is epic.
Yeah. It really is.
Okay, Patrick, do we want to get to our final sponsor, which I think is you?
I think it is me. So, guys, I want to talk to you about what's coming right now. So I know that you've seen the video on chemtrails, and I know I've talked to you about Zeolite Extra detoxification spray. We're about to start talking about 2020, and we're going to talk about something big that's coming. The kind of thing where you can't get to a grocery store, the kind of thing where you can't get to a doctor, where you can't get good food, all sorts of terrible things happening, just like in 2020. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to go into that situation fully detoxified. The amount of health improvement I have had just spraying 15 to 25 sprays of Zeolite Extra spray in my mouth. It detoxes all the heavy metals out of my system, all of the bisphenol A plastic poisons that are in your system. You take this every day, and it is one more bulwark against the world that's trying to poison you. And God forbid everything shuts down in 2024. Having this at your fingertips may just save your life. Go to www.epicminerals.net. Use promo code BADLANDS for 10% off your order. And if you get the Zeolite, if you get the fulvic acid immune booster tablets, capsules to go with it, you get an additional 25% off your order. Check that out, epicminerals.net. Get the Zeolite Extra spray. Have a nice supply of it handy. Take it every day. Your health improves dramatically. You just have to stick with it.
Awesome. Okay. If you guys are cool with it, I want to get to like the rants and boosts and see what the chats.
I pulled them up this time.
Chat, did you really?
Wait, John, do we want to talk about Samuel Alito?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, we should do that. And I want to say, remind me to talk about the Devolution series before we end and get to the boosts and rants.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about this story. If I can find it in my tabs. There's so many goddamn tabs. Okay, while I'm looking for this, let's watch. Do you guys see this?
It is only in the past few years that I have grown in courage to speak more boldly and directly, because as I mentioned earlier, I have leaned into my vocation as a husband and father, and as a man. To the gentleman here today, part of what plagues our society is this lie that has been told to you that men are not necessary in the home or in our communities. As men, we set the tone of the culture, and when that is absent, disorder, dysfunction, and chaos set in. This absence of men in the home is what plays a large role in the violence we see all around the nation. Other countries do not have nearly the same absentee father rates as we find here in the US, and a correlation could be made in their drastically lower violence rates as well. Be unapologetic in your masculinity, fighting against the cultural emasculation of men. Do hard things. Never settle for what is easy. You might have a talent.
Okay, I mean, long story short, this is Harrison Butker. I think that's how you say his last name. He a kicker for the Chiefs. He gave the speech, commencement speech. The left freaked out, and Bill Maher, surprising. Have you seen this yet? Okay, then let's play. This is just a 45-second clip, but pretty interesting.
He said, some of you, talking to the women here, some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world. Okay, that seems fairly modern. But I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I don't see what the big crime is. I really don't. And I think this is part of the problem people have with the left, is that lots of people in this country are like this. Like he's saying, some of you may go on to lead successful careers, but a lot of you are excited about this other way that everybody used to be. And now can't that just be a choice too? And I feel like they feel very put upon, like there's only one way to be a good person, and that's to get an advanced degree from one of those asshole factories like Harvard.
He's like, I don't understand what he's doing right now, but it seems like he's trying to almost move to the center to capture some of the right audience with some of the shit that he's been doing.
I think that there's a possibility that he's just trying to keep us from he knows the pitchforks are on their way, and he's trying to get himself into the good boys crowd.
Maybe. I thought this was funny too.
Wow.
That was fantastic.
Molly Hemingway, she's kind of a missing link journalist between the based crowd and the kind of people you would see on Fox News.
Well, I would almost bet a lot of money that she was not the one who originated this meme.
No. Oh, of course not.
She stole this from somebody.
But put it out there. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
She was one of the only people to say the name Eric Charamella on the mainstream press. They all freaked out. Don't you know we all work for the CIA?
Okay, this is the story that we'll end on before we get to the rants and the boosts and stuff. But this is a pretty interesting story. Let's read through this, Patrick.
All right. At Justice Alito's house, a "Stop the Steal" symbol on display. An upside-down flag, adopted by Trump supporters contesting the Biden victory, flew over the justice's front lawn as the Supreme Court was considering an election case. After the 2020 presidential election, as some Trump supporters falsely claimed, that President Biden had stolen the office, many of them displayed a startling symbol outside their homes, on their cars, and in online posts, an upside-down American flag. One of the homes flying an inverted flag during that time was the residence of Supreme Court Justice Samuel A. Alito Jr. in Alexandria, Virginia, according to photographs and interviews with neighbors. The upside-down flag was aloft. On January 17, 2021, the images showed. President Donald J. Trump's supporters, including some brandishing the same symbol, had rioted at the Capitol a little over a week before. Mr. Biden's inauguration was 3 days away. Alarmed neighbors snapped photographs, some of which were recently obtained by the New York Times. Word of the flag filtered back to the court. People who worked there said in interviews.
So, just before we move on, how have none of these pictures or anything come to light till now? This is I feel like this would have been primetime news back then. Like, how is this not now? Or how is it out now? Doesn't make sense.
Coordinated and timed discrediting and delegitimization effort before the Supreme Court releases a series of major decisions within the next 5 weeks.
And okay, do you remember back, was it the Roe v. Wade that got leaked?
Yes. Yeah, the Dobbs decision.
Yep. The Dobbs decision got leaked. They never got to the bottom of who leaked it. So whoever that was is still there.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're coming out with a hit piece about one of the justices now saying that they're pro-Trump, and you have the left that is they're basically asking for him to recuse himself from the case, along with Justice Thomas and whatever. Do you think, is it possible that the person who leaked the Dobbs decision is still in there and is like telling these people, he's not actually coming out and leaking anything, but he's telling these people behind closed doors, like, hey, this is how they're going to decide this case. We need to attack these people now.
Yeah, and I would even suggest that this is probably more to do with Chevron than it is to do with the Trump immunity thing. There's another hint in this article as well. There was a few paragraphs down. We don't even need to go to it, but over the past weekend. So the story is that this flag was put that way, put upside down by Alito's wife in response to signs down the street that were personally insulting to the Alitos. And they said like F Trump and stuff, like just a bunch of Alexandria, Virginia communists trying to be intimidating. So they put the upside down flag. Everybody freaked out. So just over last weekend, there were protesters back in front of Alito's house. He was out of town, but they were protesting there. His wife was there. It's very reminiscent of the Dobbs period where we were told that there was an attempted assassination on Justice Kavanaugh. So we have over the weekend protesters going to Alito's house. A few days later, we get the New York Times with an obvious hit job. I mean, to have these pictures for nearly 3.5 years and to use them right now. So, yeah, I mean, that's the real question, the timing, and then what case they're actually going after. Because the immunity thing, having Trump tried is there's no harm in that as far as we're concerned. Put those trials on display.
Yeah, with the immunity thing, I find very interesting because in a way, we've talked about this a lot on the Wednesday Power Hour. They could potentially be ruling on what Trump did by implementing devolution. If they say that he has full immunity to do whatever he deems fit or whatever, that could in a sense be used to as precedent for some look at a decision regarding devolution. Okay, but when it comes to this flag thing, that's beyond the timing. They're saying it was just his wife who did this, right? His wife did it in response to other things. Alito's a fairly old dude. He's been married a long time. I know from experience that if you and your wife share differing political beliefs and politics is like a big part of your life generally, your marriage is probably not going to work out very long. So it's very likely that whatever, if it was his wife who did put that flag up, Alito probably shares a lot of the same political views regardless. And it just seems like a cop-out. But anyway.
So, Alito, I've seen him speak. He's a true believer.
Yeah.
The same is true with Clarence Thomas.
Yep.
The same is true with William Barr.
Well, what does it mean, though, for a Supreme Court justice? And I'm not even necessarily saying I buy into the upside down flag being a stop the steal thing, whatever. But if that was his intention, that's a pretty damn interesting thing to have taken place for that to be flying outside of a Supreme Court justice's house. In terms of Trump implementing devolution, potentially, we've talked about and speculated, is it possible Trump went to the Supreme Court first to fill them in on everything before? Like I've said myself, I could see that being possible, that Trump went to them and said, hey, this is, and maybe not all of them, but at least the majority of them, the Republican majority, and said, this is what I have. This is what I'm going to do. Is this a constitutional? I don't think he necessarily would have had to, but I could see him doing something like that for sure. It's just interesting that Alito did that. I don't know. And it's coming out now.
Right after the stolen election, I was still on Quad Virum. I think you were too, John. And I remember somebody posted an upside down American flag, and Saul Montez Bradley got his tampons all in a wad about it. You will not make fun of our situation with your silly, silly ideas.
You're going to give me PTSD, dude.
I have a 1 minute and 10-second video that I'd like to play from The Big Bang Theory, if you would humor me.
I'll humor you. I'll always humor you, man.
Thank you so much. Bam. All right, there we go. This is awesome. I love this. And it's a nice little demonstration. There it is. Oh, shit.
There's no mistake This is for a full-scale rocket, not a model.
Well, I've adjusted the formula.
Not correctly.
Okay, I've had it with you. You might be an expert on theoretical physics and science fiction programs and where to sit on a freaking couch, but this is applied physics. And when it comes to applied physics, what's
happening?
A bad thing, a very bad thing. Get the door, get the door, get the door, get the door, get the door.
You're waiting for the elevator?
Right.
Wait, it's here. Give me that.
What'd you do that for? I had plenty of time.
You're welcome.
Okay, I don't get it.
The apartment's flag. Once the rocket was about to explode, he went to the refrigerator and turned the flag upside down.
Okay, I get it. It fits. We do have I think this is a Taco Bell update from CanCon.
Okay.
I guess this is a regular segment now.
CanCon. I spent $18 tonight. I got the Cantina taco this time to try it. Another fucking disappointment. No toasted cheese like the picture. Such crap. But I got the right grilled cheese burrito this time.
This Tim.
This Tim.
Is there any more to that, CanCon?
I don't know. I think we should find out, though.
I see nothing. CanCon, just based on the past 2 weeks, I think you get Taco Bell too much.
I want Taco Bell right now. He needs to stop talking about Taco Bell because I don't eat Taco Bell unless somebody reminds me of Taco Bell.
I feel like they should be a sponsor of Badlands. I feel
right.
CanCon probably
You eat your Taco Bell, and then in order to save your own life, you take Zeolite extra spray.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, let's anything else on the Alito stuff? I think it's got to be timed. We must be weeks away from one of those rulings coming out, the immunity one. Probably it's going to go in Trump's favor in some fashion, and they're going to cry like, "Oh, Alito should have recused," whatever. That has to be what this is about. The leaker from the Dobbs case is still there. Or Dobbs' decision is still there. They never got to the bottom of that, and they must have timed this for something.
Well, we're going to talk about the Chevron stuff as the decision gets released, which is usually in the third week of June, if I'm not mistaken. But that's got the potential to like eliminate their entire system, because that allows the federal bureaucracy to set rules and regulations without any input from anyone elected. You know, we are in this system that is so far beyond what the founders actually intended. In fact, it's a total inversion of what the founders intended. The idea was that the idea was that that the Congress would be setting these rules. If there were rules and laws that the federal government was allowed to pass, the people's representatives, the ones closest to the people would be the ones making these laws. And now they've just delegated all of that authority to unelected bureaucrats. And if this situation is going to get fixed with a government remaining in place, that has to happen. And so it seems like that's the nightmare scenario for them. And that's what's going to motivate them to delegitimize the court. And it's funny that they're trying to delegitimize Alito and the Supreme Court on the same day that the Congress has totally delegitimized itself.
Very true. Spot on. I got nothing to add. Okay, so one quick note that I wanted to say about devolution from before. So somebody in my Spitballers chat, if you weren't aware, I have a Telegram channel and a chat group. It's called the Spitballers. There's a lady over there named Lynn B, who said that she is starting from chapter 1 of devolution, or whatever, part 1, and going to go 1 week at a time, and each week read an article, and like they're going to kind of do some sort of discussion group on the Spitballers channel. I was thinking of maybe doing some sort of streaming to go with it to discuss this stuff. Just it'd be fun to do a recap. I mean, even myself, I haven't I haven't gone through a lot of those articles since I wrote them. And so if you would be interested in like some sort of stream to go with that to discuss, I don't know if it'd maybe be on Locals or something. We'll see. But if you'd be interested, let me know. Maybe comment in Spitballers or Twitter, and maybe we can get something like that up and running. Another thing I want to say is make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. What was that, Patrick?
That's brilliant. So just kind of thinking out loud, each devolution issue.
Yep.
Start with issue 1. How did we get here?
Yep.
And you play it. I don't know. You just replay my reading of it or something like that. And then we just do a Locals subscriber exclusive question and answer session.
Yeah, just discussion about it. Because I mean, literally, some of those articles I haven't read since I wrote most, and it's especially since starting Badlands, I haven't gone back through, and so I think it'd be good for everybody, including myself. And I think it'd be interesting to see if there's anything that's changed or like thoughts, that gets sparked. I think it'd be good. So, yeah, I think that's something we're gonna do.
Yeah, that's a great idea, and it'll really give us a nice, way to get into the Locals platform.
Yeah, which is something we want to do. We want to give more behind the scenes and one-to-one engagement with the audience. So
exactly.
Yeah, I'll announce something like that if we decide to do it. Another thing, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. We always appreciate that. And then we should get into the boosts real quick. If I can find them. Okay, here we go. Patrick, can you read these?
Frogs and snails, $30. A friend at the New Jersey rally was behind a few young men in the security check line. Secret Service, I'm assuming, was searching everyone and found weed in the one guy's cigarette pack. He told them they had to throw it out. The guys told Secret Service that it's legal in New Jersey. It is. Secret Service told them it doesn't matter because right now they're on federal property. Question. Is it federal property only if the president is there, or is it federal property if Secret Service has jurisdiction for anyone? If the former, could be a Devo proof.
That's an interesting question. I can't imagine the president can just go somewhere and it be considered federal property. That doesn't seem
right
constitutional. So maybe that is how it works, because it does seem very unconstitutional. It would make sense that our government makes it be a thing. I don't know. Where was that rally in New Jersey?
Wildwood.
Yeah. I'd also want to, and this would be impossible to do, I guess, but clarify that they said federal property and not federal something else, because, isn't it still like federally illegal?
And also, your friends smoke a lot of weed. Are we 100% sure on the story that they relayed to you?
But hey, we can look into it.
Yeah, that is something to look into. Let's do G-Man.
Absolutely. Next, G-Man, $10. Can y'all wish my mom Karen a happy Mother's Day? She's the best. We're in for that Gart at a ski resort.
We did read that one last week, but we will wish her another happy birthday or Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to Karen.
And then
here, this is a more recent one.
From Matthew, $25. Regarding the clip you played of the blubbering idiot who couldn't explain why the U.S. government is in debt if it can print its own money, it would be good to explain to people that the U.S. government does not own the money it's borrowing. It's called a Federal Reserve note for that reason. The Federal Reserve Bank is the owner of that fiat. The U.S. government pays the Federal Reserve Bank to use its fiat dollar. The Federal Reserve Bank is above the laws of the U.S. and is also not federal. They are a private central bank owned by unknown elites. Thanks, Badlands, for all you do. Keep exposing. And thank you for that awesome explanation. The Iron Bank will always get paid.
Yeah. Did those, hold on. And by the way, guys, we're reading through the boosts right now, which if you go to our website, badlandsmedia.tv, click support and then click on boosts. This is your way that you can leave a comment that will be read on air, even if you're not watching live. And a majority of the funds from the boosts go to Badlands, where Rumble takes 20%. I think we only pay like 3% in processing fees. So,
Nice.
yeah, let's read through Matthew again. This is a more recent one.
Matthew, $15. Saw Rob Schneider stand up yesterday at Mystic Lake Casino. It's a Minnesota suburb. House was full. Show was super based. Topics covered included the desire of the Uniparty to divide the people based on gender, race, and political affiliation. Lots of comments about gay and transgender being part of the agenda taught in schools. The entire crowd cheered on negative comments about Joe Biden and positive comments about Trump. I highly recommend checking out and supporting. They are helping to spread based thinking across the country. The word is spreading. Keep up the great work, Badlanders. Mystic Lake.
And speaking of us,
Minneapolis.
Yeah, speaking of a suburb in Minnesota, on June 30th, there's going to be a Badlands gathering at Quinny's Sports Pub, also called Pub Q, in I'm going to butcher this. I've already been made fun of by Quinny for butchering this, but Matomedi, Minnesota. And I'm actually going to be there because I have a family member getting married in Minnesota, and so the next day I'm going to this. Starts at noon. You can RSVP or ask any questions or whatever by emailing Quinny's Sports Pub at gmail.com. That's QUINNYSSPORTS pub at gmail.com. June 30th. I'll be there. Gonna be a great time. Gonna try to convince my brother to come too. We'll see.
Wow. The name Metomedi comes from the Dakota Indians. Means Bear Lake in their language.
Oh, interesting.
All right. Next.
How do you know that?
I was Wikipediaing it.
Oh, okay.
Jamie Sailor 2, $17. What are your thoughts on the new Ivan Raiklin interview? He brings up his deep state list names, and General Flynn retweeted it. Thank you guys for all your hard work. I think it's scripted.
I figured this is going to come up. I have nothing against Raiklin personally. Like I actually spoke with him on the phone a couple of weeks ago now. I think he's a smart dude. When it comes to this stuff, like the release the DM. Well, first of all, when he goes on these spiels, I don't know if he did it in this most recent video. I actually didn't have the time to watch like a 20-minute video. Just kind of honestly, it's intimidating to me. I just have no time. But previously, when I've watched his stuff, he always starts with Mike Pence wrote the Patriot Act, which is not true. And
yeah.
And so like that's like, okay, well, you're going to start this whole long spiel about all this stuff and start it with Mike Pence wrote the Patriot Act, which is provably false. And so that you lose me there. But whatever, even if the rest of it is 100% accurate, when it comes to releasing Twitter's DMs, which is like this big push that is coming out of all this stuff. And again, nothing against Ivan personally. I just disagree with that tactic completely because I think that violates Twitter's terms of service. And I think that opens up Elon Musk to lawsuits, which I think could probably take Twitter down. Like, why would we want Elon Musk to violate his own terms of service? Because if you look at Twitter's terms of service, they can only release DMs to law enforcement if there is illegal activity breaking the law. So yeah, if you want to release the DMs to law enforcement because the law has been broken, then do that for sure. But I personally do not advocate for the public display of anybody's personal DMs. I wouldn't want mine personally displayed out there. But if they were, I would probably sue the shit out of Twitter because that is against their terms of service, which is what would happen to him if he just went and did that carte blanche to all the names that Ivan's asking for. So that is just my opinion. Nothing against him, is what it is.
You want to know how they really DM each other in the deep state? This is what I heard during Russiagate. They keep a draft email in Gmail, and they have multiple people with access to that account.
No, wow.
And they just read the draft and then delete it. Pretty badass. I mean, I'm impressed.
Yeah, clever.
Yep. All right. Next, 7. Oh yeah, we got to that one. What's the next?
I think that's all. I think that's all the boosts.
Okay. Then we get to
do the rants,
and we have many.
Oh, there's a question. I'm your moderator. What time is your new show with Patrick? So their show, 2020 Hindsight, is debuting Monday, this coming Monday at 9 Eastern, right before Baseless Conspiracies.
And we will keep it under 90 minutes. Guaranteed.
We have to. Someone in the chat earlier said we should call it hindsight 2020, and I was immediately like, wait, isn't that what we're calling it? And I don't remember what I originally said. We've been calling it 2020 hindsight, but I think it is hindsight 2020. We'll figure that out.
It's one of the two. And
would that be better? Hindsight 2020.
Oh no! Now I've had them both in my head so much.
The expression is hindsight is 2020. So we're taking it from that. So hindsight 2020, catchy. However, I think 2020 hindsight, inverting those two things, has a certain emphasis power. So
I agree.
So there's that.
Well,
right,
it's going to be a surprise for Monday.
Yes, it is. All right.
We're just going to call it. We'll do it live. Fuck it. We'll do it.
Yeah.
The name of the show.
Attitude for everything I do. $50. A Wood 867. Wow, Patrick, that was the gayest thing I've ever seen. And frankly, I'm ashamed to say that I thoroughly enjoyed it. All kidding aside, I applaud you for stepping out of your comfort zone. Thank you very much for the generous super chat, $50. And thank you for the compliment. Yes, dancing is out of my comfort zone. I remain a double threat.
At least he's dancing with a woman. It makes it a little less gay.
Yeah, exactly. $2. Rave Daddy 523. Patrick, you were the best in Badlands because you keep true to the heart with the most epic conspiracies like Flat Earth. I believe with you, my brother. Thank you very much, Rave Daddy 523. $5. Brian E. Murphy. The Chris and Patrick show name has been sitting in front of you the whole time. Fake and gay. We just felt like that was a little too on the nose, but thank you very much for the super chat. $5. CanCon. Go on Badlands Daily Template. This video is saved on there. It's way worse than something. I don't know.
He's talking about the Joe Biden with the really low voice.
And then he sent in the video. He gave it to us. Awesome, CanCon. $5. Thank you for the super chat. $5. Rave Daddy 523. I've been taking Fenben for over a month, and I have more energy and feel better. I don't have cancer, but the past 9 years I've had polyps in my colonoscopies, and I'm hoping to go back and hear I'm clear. Where we go one, we go all. Thank you very much.
Good luck, sir.
Very much so. Good luck. $5.
Sorry.
DWalk 18. What are precedent implications on the SCOTUS ruling? The LA congressional map decision to use a racist, unconstitutional map for this cycle instead of the original non-racist constitutional map. I don't know anything about that ruling.
Patrick, I haven't seen this. I haven't watched this video yet.
DWalk 18. Thank you for the super chat. I don't know anything about that SCOTUS ruling. Sorry. Wait, but
love it.
Oh, this is awesome.
Oh, you don't have any sound on it.
I know, because you're reading the rants. I just thought.
Oh yeah, good point. All right, yeah. Anyway, that's me swing dancing. I'm actually, the thing about swing dancing is you're doing these constant friggin' triple steps, and it basically had me collapsing to the ground out of breath after 5 minutes. But ever since I started taking the Zeolite extra spray, all of a sudden I am able to dance swing dancing without dying. And it's actually kind of fun.
I think it's the facial expressions that are just fucking killing me, bro. Like, look at your face. And
yeah, so this is a real thing that these dancers do. They look at her. She's doing the same thing. Same face. We have to be so happy. It's like the way I describe it when I'm about to go swing dancing, I need to have a facial expression that said, I just took a big rip off of a crack pipe.
Is that what you actually did, though?
No, I have to pretend, unfortunately. All right. So anyway, next rant. $5 Knicker Spickers incoming from Australia. See you in Deadwood, guys. Can't wait. Thank you so much. $1 Razor Sharp. Trump said tonight when speaking at the NRA, he would ask for a drug test. Damn straight. $5 CanCon. This is the same video as the first one, but that's when the drugs kicked in. Nice. I want to know what that dude is on. It's got to be the best stuff ever. $10. Too big for bike. Clones aren't real. Do you really think God would breathe the breath of life into a clone? Come on, man.
Well, we
Thank you
do
so
know that they can clone sheep, and that was like back in early 2000s, wasn't it?
We
Yeah,
do know that they've said they can clone a sheep.
We do know that they had a picture of a sheep one time. $10. Woohoo, 288. Would love to hear y'all's guess at what Trump was saying to world leaders on his sovereign coalition tour after he was elected. Was it like, hey guys, my country is infiltrated and corrupt. Help me. It's a frick. I don't know what he was saying. I think it was probably something way more badass than that, but you're wondering is definitely something I'm doing too.
Yeah, I mean, because all the people he went to appear to, like, since then, be pretty based themselves. So seems like they're all on the same page.
Yep. And I will say this, we will find out the people we have hated this whole time were good guys the whole time. $20, DARPA. Is it possible that they will use Biden's awful debate to convince people that he has to be replaced at or before the convention? That is a common theory. I don't think that's it, because I think we are doing a devolution term. So I think they're just going to have him have awful debates and have him crawl towards election day, the most decrepit thing you've ever seen in your life.
I think it will be interesting, though, to see how the media does with this, because the media has been pretty overt about the polls lately, being very pro-Trump. And so are they going to see this as their opportunity to try to get him out of there? Or are they going to try to cover for him and gaslight everybody and say that he beat Trump in these debates? I don't, we'll see. But I think no matter what, they're stuck with him. But it'll be interesting.
It's going to be fun as hell.
Because we might be able to figure out if the media is actually disconnected from whatever's going on with the deep state here. If there's a difference where the media and everybody on the left is pushing to remove Biden, but he ends up being stuck there anyway, that's a disconnect, which I think is notable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Blaming masculinity. Bay Theater Dave. God bless you, sir. $1. Rave Daddy 523. CanCon. I work at Taco Bell, so I can tell you all the ingredients for all the things. There is the normal chicken, and the cantina chicken is nasty. I don't trust anything other than chicken and cheese. Rave Daddy, you are one great Taco Bell employee.
And God bless you.
Yeah, thank you. I know it's poison. I'm going to eat it anyway.
Well, Rave Daddy, can you get CanCon a discount?
Or at least frequent flyer miles.
Yeah, he does bitch about the cost, doesn't he?
At least a free roll of toilet paper or something.
I mean, you used to be able to get those tacos for like 59 cents, and now they're like $6. So
God, that's insane.
I'm kidding about the $6, but I mean, you used to get one of the cheap tacos. I think they were like 59 and 69 cents, and now they've got to be $2 or $3.
Oh, and they're oh so awful.
Yeah, they just get worse while it gets more expensive.
I know. $15. 1027 JS. Hi guys.
Hey Joe.
How are you? Thank you for the super chat. $5. Real Red Pill 78 GF. I'm ashamed to say that this is my first DPH. No longer a virgin. Also, Patrick is godlike when he dances.
Couple of things. One, you should be ashamed. Number two, congrats on Zach and you having sex for the first time. And I think that's all I got.
Thank you so very much. Real Red Pill 78 GF. This is the best thing I've ever heard in my life. Red Pill 78's own girlfriend said that I'm godlike when I dance. $50. Brenny Lynn, so grateful I came across John nearly 3 years ago that eventually led to the following of other Badlands media members. You are truly a remarkable group of people. Thank you all for all you do. Love y'all. Thank you so much, Brenny. $20. Shannon R. Bach, stoked about the CPPG, Chris Paul and Patrick Gunnell's show. The American Renaissance is incoming, and if you don't like it, you're a motherfucker. I agree. If you don't like this network, and you're a fucking motherfucker. Yeah.
Motherfucker.
$20. Luz Garcia 1224. Nothing matters if we don't get election reforms integrity. I'm in Pennsylvania and it's totally corrupt here. Thank you guys. MAGA. Yeah, thank you very much. Pennsylvania is a friggin' cesspit.
They all are. They all are.
Pennsylvania was the one that had the pizza boxes that it put up to keep people from watching.
I thought that was Michigan.
Shit, I could be wrong.
But either way, they're all so bad. Pennsylvania definitely was the one that had the door open, like in the days leading up to the election, where the guy was just able to walk into the room full of voting machines. They also changed all their laws.
They changed all their laws. And then we had the election workers wearing masks that said Biden Harris, unless that was photoshopped in. Yeah. Which it could have been.
We'll find out as the day draws nigh.
I know
on hindsight 2020.
Can you even believe how exciting our show is going to get as we get closer to 2024 November 5th, which is also really my 1-year wedding anniversary?
Yeah,
remember.
Now I'm feeling sad that I'm being left out of the show.
You can come on anytime you like, John.
Yes.
Okay, you don't mean that though.
Sure I do.
Of course
but you don't actually mean that. Like I would tell Burning Bright, like, hey man, you can come on the Saturday Power whenever you want, but I really wouldn't mean that.
Okay, but that's different.
It is different because it's Burning Bright. Yeah. Okay.
No, see, if you came on our show, we would be choosing the topics. And so it would be you, the guest, coming on the show where everybody who's actually, a regular on the show thinks that Joe Biden is wearing a rubber mask and is being played by Jim Carrey. I'm just kidding. Only I think that. Chris is more general.
I can't wait for you guys' show. I can't wait. It's gonna be one of a kind.
$5. PJW. John, can you please just announce who is leaving? The chat is loaded with questions. Is Kate gone? Is Jordan gone? Is it the bunker? Is it the bunker? It's taking away from the show.
I don't know. I guess I didn't really feel like it was necessary to disclose it. What do you guys think? I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Everybody's gonna find out sooner or later.
Yeah. So Kate's no longer having shows on the network, the Vigilant News guys, and the Bunker guys. So you nailed it.
Wow. Well done.
But cool. Jordan, they mentioned Jordan.
Jordan, kind of by default, because he does a show with Justin, is no longer out doing a show for now, but he is helping with some behind the scenes stuff. He's kind of taking the lead of the our clipping stuff onto YouTube and getting, because somehow Jordan Sather still has shows on, or still has clips on TikTok and YouTube and whatever. So he's done something right, or he's a Fed. I don't know, but he's going to help us out by trying to get us on there as well. So he's still part of Badlands, still helping us out. And we'll see what we can do with those clips.
Fantastic. $5. Julie JN. Pretty sure the Ukraine war did not happen before. 2 girls from my gym are from there. I talked to them from the beginning, and they had family there, grandma, etc. They went back there and have not returned. Yeah. I'm not going to convert you to my way of thinking, but people don't know what's happening 2 blocks over.
That's true.
You don't go. I realized very quickly in 2020 when I was doing streams. In 2021, I found some Aussies from Australia. One girl from Melbourne. She was doing her own show. I tracked her down. I said, "Hey, come on my show. I want to hear from an actual Melbourne person about whether or not these cops are going up to people and strangling them for not wearing a mask." And then she proceeded to tell me all the shit she sees in her newspapers. It's not why I had her on. I said, I need to know what's actually going on that you've seen with your own eyeballs in Melbourne. She's like, oh, nothing. People give me a dirty look for not wearing a mask. So
remember when Andrew Cuomo came out just like a couple days or weeks ago and was like, yeah, we never had any authority to make you wear masks anyway. We couldn't enforce it. But y'all did. Joke's on you.
What a filthy little Guido. Oh, no offense, Chris. Okay.
I'm not offended.
$2. Sleep state. The British Empire was always our enemy. Agreed. $2. Keith O'Higgins. Trump, after naming VP, should name Kristi Noem as Secretary of State candidate. Her policy on Ukraine. Have gravel pit. Will travel. Her policy on Ukraine.
Don't understand it, but
I don't understand. I do appreciate the super chat. She's a dissimp.
Trump did say recently that he might announce his VP candidate at the Republican National Convention. I don't know.
Damn.
Did you see?
Wait a second. That would be like the convention is when they become the formal nominees. He might wait until then to announce.
That's what he said.
I bet he waits after that.
I do too. But also, did you see Mike Pence got his some of his campaign? His campaign was in the hole, and he applied to the FEC or whatever, the Federal Election Commission, to get some of it paid off using tax dollars, and he got approved for it. So tax dollars going to pay off some of Mike Pence's campaign.
That's hilarious.
It's interesting.
Very. I can't wait. I want to, guys. We're going to know more about what's going on in our world when Trump picks his VP. I sincerely believe that.
Yeah, we'll see.
$5 counterinsurgent. Trump mentioned this as his second term again at the NRA speech today. Oh, man. Just email me at pgunnels@gmail.com if you got the link to that. Thank you. $5 GSP girl. Are we going to talk about Trump saying that the next election will be his third term at the NRA convention? Oh, it's two people saying the same thing.
I didn't see that.
Thank you. $5 Desert Jules 17. Maybe Trump will throw, quote unquote, the first debate in June and let Potato win to mess with them, so they'll leave Potato in the race. I don't think so. I think in the framing that we're looking at it in, he's going to just get progressively horrible, and they're not going to do shit because they're controlled.
I want to see if I can find this clip here quick.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah, I've been looking for that too.
$5.
I said in the chat before in response to that person, like if you could drop the link in. So if anybody has seen that link,
I think it's up right here.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
You know, FDR, 16 years, almost 16 years. He was 4-term. I don't know. Are we going to be considered 3-term or 2-term? You tell me. Ronnie, what do you think? Are we 3-term or 2-term if we win?
I mean,
what the fuck?
I've said every day for almost 4 years now that Joe Biden will never be president, and it's because he'll never be president. History is not going to record Joe Biden as president.
If we are right about the fraud, Joe Biden can't be president.
Trump agrees with you.
It's very simple.
Yep.
You know, there was a speech rally Trump gave in his 2020 campaign trail, and he said maybe it'll be 9 years, or maybe it'll be 13 years, or maybe it'll be 17 years. Well, those 3 letters correspond in the alphabet to I, M, Q.
Really?
Well, yeah, 9, 13, 17.
Okay, I need to see that.
The speech itself, it's easy to find.
Yep.
But I mean, if you wanted me to demonstrate that those numbers correspond with those letters in the alphabet,
I need to see both.
Okay.
But yeah, not right now. Like, don't. But we need to find that.
It's fun. You're gonna love it. $5 Fredo Awakening. No way Biden makes a debate, and no way he will be the Demtard candidate. He's too far gone. It's gonna be Big Mike. Get those meme cannons ready, Mohap.
I don't think they can replace him. He's too perfect.
$2 Fredo Awakening PSA. Silver in bullet form is for werewolves, not vampires. Need a wooden stake for vamps. That's why Red Pill 78 had a silver bullet when he went through TSA in Irvine. I gave it to him. Fredo, you are one of a kind.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
It's true. I mean, you know,
Gave him a legit like silver bullet, and TSA found it.
Wait, don't vampires also do the silver thing?
No,
because that was a thing in True Blood.
Yeah, in True Bloods, and also Blade, silver nitrate. They could use it to just like absolutely waste some vampires.
Yeah.
But in Buffy, vampires don't have any problem with silver whatsoever.
Why is that?
Just different universes, different mythologies,
different writers.
Yeah, I mean the real answer is I don't know. They just made the decision at some point. $5 pure blood salty fuck. I was thinking if the economy is going to crash sometime prior to the elections, so Biden is to blame, shouldn't that happen soon so they can't use it as a reason to not have the elections?
I think for narrative impact, it's best to happen as close to the election as possible, like in the weeks before.
Maybe before early voting starts.
Maybe between. Well, yeah. I don't think it matters whether early voting has started or not, but before as long as close to the election as possible, I think, without being like a day or two, I think it'll help.
$5. D-Tech, normies, possibly bots, are complimenting Biden on infrastructure improvements, which is happening. Does EO 13858 Section 2, Part D under Trump cover this or no? Hoping for an informational argument.
Oh, let me look at it specifically.
I'm sure that's worth exploring. Thank you very much for the super chat. $2. Freight Awakening. Real value of silver is closer to $500 or $1,000, maybe even more. They manipulate it. Stack if you can. Even at $31, it's severely undervalued IMO. Yep, I think it is too. Could be wrong.
The question is when it goes up real high, do you trade it in for fiat so you can trade that for something else?
Like Bitcoin.
Or you keep holding on to the silver. Yeah.
I think the thing we're waiting for is for the silver squeeze to happen and the dollar to collapse both at the same time, causing silver to go to some currency, causing silver to go to 0.1 Bitcoin per ounce.
That'd be badass.
Yes. We'll start valuing things in Bitcoin.
I don't think that silver could be worth that much, though, no matter what.
Because you think 0.1 Bitcoin is going to be $100,000.
Well, also just because there's way too much silver. I mean, how much, you know what I mean?
I don't know how much silver there is.
It'll be interesting when we get to a point where Bitcoin isn't even described in terms of dollars. Like that's probably going to happen at some point.
When your milk that you buy at the store isn't described in dollars. When everything finally gets no longer described in dollars, well, that'll be awesome. Next super chat. $1 sleep state. A silver dollar has a face value of $1, but a silver spot value of $30. If you're self-employed, maybe you could pay yourself with silver dollars to avoid income tax. That is definitely, that's going to be the kind of thing that gets my noggin jogging. Thank you very much. $17. Freedom 17. My theory is a nuclear war warning will be sent out and a rods from God weapon will be dropped on Hoover Dam. Low population area and Lake Mead is at a very low level. I like it. And I think rods of God are very possible. That is just a high altitude, very high altitude apparatus that drops a tungsten rod, and because of acceleration due to, I'm not going to say gravity, but acceleration due to the laws of our world, it would reach amazing kinetic energy by the time it hits the surface.
Why would you not say gravity?
Because gravity isn't real. We have a density gradient system that puts denser objects at the bottom, and the less dense they get, the higher up they are. But there is no force generated by large, massive objects. That's made up.
I was watching an entertaining video about how many of the scientific dogmas that are taken as proven truths are just fundamentally incorrect. And it mentioned both gravity and the speed of light as supposed constants that happen not to be, and that have been adjusted numerous times. The speed of light is now just taken for granted as the number, and you can't measure it anymore. They just use that to measure other things. And I was actually reading an article the other day that said, if an experiment leads to a different result than this, it is assumed that the machine itself is faulty.
Beautiful. That's what we call science now.
Yes.
Perfect. And by the way, a meter is now defined as the length that a beam of light travels 1/300,000th of a second in a vacuum. It's so stupid.
So stupid.
Okay.
Just a psychop.
It's a fucking psychop. $17. Freedom 17. My theory is got that one. Thank you so much. Yeah, the rods of God thing is fascinating. $1 Rave Daddy 523 inside a flat dome therapy. They can explode and high-powered bomb over a country and cause an EMP level event. That's not to say cars and classic engines will make it the longest. Yes, there's all sorts of shit they can do for real. I'm not saying that incredibly terrifying weapons don't exist. They do.
John, can we put up the link that I just sent in the StreamYard chat? I'd like to get Patrick's thoughts on it.
Oh God, I can't wait.
Please, no. They're just taking the piss. MIT News. Is this for Massachusetts Institute of Technology?
Yeah, it's at .edu. It's them.
Okay, here we go. This is where all the very smart people go. Astronomers spot a giant planet that is as light as cotton candy. The new world is the second lightest planet discovered to date. Jennifer Chu. I hear they have a few East Asians over there at MIT. Anyway, astronomers at MIT, the University of Liège in Belgium, and elsewhere have discovered a huge, fluffy, oddball of a planet orbiting a distant star in our Milky Way galaxy. The discovery, reported today in the journal Nature Astronomy, is a promising key to the mystery of how such giant super light planets form. The new planet, named WASP 193b, appears to dwarf Jupiter in size, yet it is a fraction of its density. The scientists found that the gas giant is 50% bigger than Jupiter and about a tenth as dense, and extremely low density, comparable to that of cotton candy.
Wait,
okay.
There's one more fact that we have to get out of this article.
Okay, which one?
It might not be in this article in particular, but keep going. The distance. Go ahead.
WASP 193b is the second lightest planet discovered to date after the smaller Neptune-like world Kepler 51d. The new planet's much larger size combined with its super light density make WASP 193b something of an oddity of among the more than 5,400 planets discovered to date. To find these giant objects with such a small density is really, really rare, says lead study author and MIT postdoc Khalid Barkawi. There's a class of planets called puffy Jupiters. And it's been a mystery for 15 years now as to what they are, and this is an extreme case of that class.
It's probably dust on their telescope lens. John, if you just opened the CNN article I just sent through, that one has the critical fact, and it is located in the second paragraph of the article.
Here we go. But WASP 193b, located beyond our solar system at about 1,200 light years from Earth, isn't just a scientific oddity. The exoplanet could also be key to future research investigating atypical planetary formation, according to a study describing the find that published Tuesday in the journal Nature Astronomy.
Can I ask?
100 light years away.
How are they able to determine the density of something that far away?
They make it up. They're also making up the distance of that thing and the idea that things like that can exist.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't express how shocking it is that there are people at MIT who think this is real.
I mean, man, NASA, like, if you check out all the different places that do space, they're all basically the same place, right? The information just filters through these various places that are all interconnected, and they speak to the academic community. They give the academic community and the media like the new space stuff, and then they disseminate it to us. This is an intelligence agency that simply like submits press releases to the media, and we're like, oh gosh, just think of the wonder and inspiration out there in that deep black void. I hope that our purpose is out there somewhere, since it's clearly not in here inside this cage that we can't get out of.
Oh my God. Beautifully put. And also there's comms here. I mean, WASP 193b. I don't know what they mean by it, but I don't know. It's probably a kill order for all we know.
That's an interesting point. They tell us how they determine the density right here.
Here we go. Usually, scientists determine mass using a technique called radial velocity, in which researchers analyze how a star's spectrum, a graph that indicates the intensity of light emissions and wavelengths, shifts as a planet orbits it. The bigger the planet, the more the star's spectrum can shift. But this didn't work for WASP 193b, which is so light it didn't make any pull on the star that the team could detect.
Interesting.
This is so embarrassing. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so they got this thing that measures its colors, and that's how they know. Because they make all, it's just wow. It's just wow. I'm not gonna attack this from a logical perspective. I'm going to assume that we know that that's fake. I have to. I'm sorry at this point.
I don't think you need to apologize for that, but
okay. Next, $2 Keith O'Higgins. Physical silver could and should be converted by lawful or trusted sources. Big question on digital money is why, I think you mean digital money, is why FTX won't be charged with campaign finance violations, deep state loss or gain. I feel like it's the fog of war with FTX.
did you see the story where FTX, and maybe we covered it on here, but FTX is paying back their debtors like 150% because of how much crypto has gone up since they went bankrupt? Did you guys see that story?
I did not see that story.
Okay, hold on.
$1 sleep state. Smash that Mohap button. I do believe I will. $10 Jason of TGA. Given been in 5GW, fifth generation war, since at least 2014. That's the main reason I find Patrick's hilarious fake and gay narrative, along with Chris's all lies, fog of war interpretations, compelling. Embracing chaos. Thank you very much for the super chat. Yeah, there's a little aspect. We're embracing the chaos, recognizing it for what it is,
and also introducing it to the other side that offers control in a constantly false way. Like, you have to create chaos in what they're doing. They continually present controlled opposition dynamics. Everything they communicate is meant to be fought about, while the underlying assumptions that both sides make are believed by us to be true. The purpose is that those underlying assumptions are believed to be true. They don't care about which side wins the argument. It is our responsibility to understand that those underlying assumptions are also not true.
Exactly. Yeah. $10. Woohoo. 288. What do you three think of Ivan Raiklin?
We already went through that.
We did, and thank you for the super chat. Freight Awakening, $2. If you don't hit thumbs up, then you ain't black. And you also think Patrick is wearing a cool shirt and that Michelle Obama is a woman. So smash that thumbs up and realize that Michelle Obama's uterus is a puffy Jupiter. Meaning it's fake. It doesn't exist. $12, another $179. A $12 Rumble rant. In short, thanks, guys. Thank you. $25, Mad Dog 3553. Speaking of young viewers, my 24-year-old son wants to go to Quinny's on June 30th. Remind me where we RSVP. That's a damn fine question.
That would be, hold on. You RSVP to, and I'll post this on my socials probably tomorrow with the full details and everything, but it's Quinny's Sports Pub at gmail.com. QUINNYS Sports Pub at gmail.com.
Nice. $10, Raquel Hall. Nice to hear from you, Raquel. X and TikTok shut my account down after I posted the video of President Trump exposing how corrupt RFK Jr. is. Time to open another account using my third email account. You just keep plugging away, Raquel. Thank you so much. $5, Wedged Gravy. John, you have to advertise your brand. No one knows who you guys are. Buy some billboards along major highways. Do it for 3 months. Take that under advisement.
I don't have to do anything. One. But
Thank
yeah,
you
I've
so
thought
much
about
for
that.
your advice.
Yeah, I don't
Fine.
think billboards is the way to go.
I
We'll see.
mean, hey, do billboards work? Just did. All right. That's how they sell them.
I've seen that before.
I know. It's pretty good. $5.
Did you buy a billboard when after
No,
you saw
but
it? Okay.
I'll tell you
Then
what
it
I
didn't
did
work that
know
well.
though. It worked enough to know that they have a phone number. I know that they have a phone number because their phone number was right below just did.
What was the phone number? Do you remember?
They're also
From
good
my
for
wingman?
knowing. They're also good for knowing whether or not you're within 100 miles of a Buc-ee's.
I know. I love
See,
Buc-ee's.
we don't have Buc-ee's down up here in North Dakota.
Buc-ee's is wonderful, and
It's
I'm
like a big
sure
thing.
they
down
have
in Texas.
corrupt corporate money or something like that. But on the interstate highways of Texas, we have really great gas stations called Buc-ee's with just bathrooms so clean you could perform neurosurgery in there.
Well, see, that's interesting. Like that's the selling point of the Buc-ee's is the clean bathrooms.
Yeah, dude. Like
For real?
well, okay, so it's not just that, but they have they have their own stands of their own food that they make from scratch, and they have it's a freaking great place. It's
But
a
you said
big
the
old-
clean bathrooms first. Like that's
Oh,
just interesting to me.
Oh, sure, because like when you're driving on a long car trip with a woman and 2 children,
Yeah.
she just does if they need to pee and the bathroom's filthy, they freak out. At least my kids do.
Okay.
So anyway, the clean bathrooms are a big selling point. Buc-ee's is awesome, and I'm not getting paid to plug Buc-ee's. So Jesus, $5. I know, $5. Jason of TGA. Google government organization for obfuscation of Gulliver's Little Indians. Thank you. What is an Indian? Is that from Gulliver's Travels? Thank you very much for the super chat. $10. C.A. Prejean. Gunnels, Zeolite spray is awesome. Thanks for introducing it to me at GART in Dallas. Rock on. Thank you, Carrie. Really appreciate the endorsement. $5. Starborn01. I found Badlands from John's Eddie Bravo podcast. Love the episode, by the way. Maybe it's good to go on more shows if you guys get invited. Damn it, that's a great point.
That's a good point.
That is a great way to promote Badlands. Go on heterogeneous assortment of other platforms and just promote. Boy, only 24 hours in the day too, though. $10. C.A. Prejean. Missed most of the show this evening. Proofing my book took precedence. My apologies. Mohap. Fredo, I'm listening. Thank you so much, C.A. Prejean, and I want to find out more about your book. $5. Wedged Gravy. I see this as a Devo proof. It's on the 17th. The Supreme Court Justice is acknowledging the overthrow of the government. We have to assume that this story is telling the truth.
His wife is acknowledging the overthrow.
All right, same shit. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Like, think about this for a second.
What a cop out. My wife did it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Okay, I'm just trying to think. Okay, so I get the elections. I'm a Supreme Court Justice, and my wife, Ashley, puts the flag upside down. I obviously approve of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Knowing full well you're a Supreme Court justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely approve.
There might be backlash. And yet we only hear about it 4 years later. It's
crazy.
So weird. Part of me wants to just say, I think the story might be entirely false.
Sounds like something you might say on 2020 hindsight or hindsight 2020.
You know what we need to do? We need to hear from freaking Alito. Bro, what's with the upside down flag? Is that real? And if he says yes, I'll take him at his word.
He commented on it and said, it's real, but my wife did it.
Oh, I probably should have listened more carefully then.
Yeah. My wife, it was something like my wife left the kitchen, the confines of her kitchen without permission and put up a flag and it was upside down.
That's awesome. $5 Wedged Gravy. I see. Oh, I got that one already. Thank you very much. $9 Mesmerist. Hi, guys. The Fake Faggot Ukraine War. My video designer, Al Bick, is based in the Ukraine. I've been working with him since 2021. His business has never been interrupted, and he has not mentioned the war. So there's that.
Crazy.
Now, remember, guys, just because that confirms my biases doesn't mean I have to assume that her information is correct.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more data to consider.
Oh.
$50, Quinny63. The introduction of Badlands Media when I see a person that is either wearing a hat or t-shirt that signifies they do not like fake President Tin Nuts is the best part of my day. Happy Saturday, boys. Thank you so much, Quinny. And guys, you've been recognized in public, right?
Yeah.
It's the best thing ever.
At Gertz.
No. I mean, just walking around.
I don't think I have, like, here in North Dakota.
Oh,
there's only 8 people there.
I know.
Yeah,
but
true.
in Houston, not in Houston, but in Houston, when I was without a car for like weeks and I was taking a bunch of Ubers, I had like 2 separate Uber drivers go like, holy shit, are you Patrick Gunnels? And I'm like, boy, this is awesome.
Yeah, I don't think I've had that experience quite yet.
It's great. It's all, I recommend it. $5, A. Justice Cooper. The left wants the conservative judges recused because they think they are the ones that would rule for complete immunity. The funniest will be when the liberals vote for immunity because they see what's coming. All fair. Absolutely. $5, A.R. Wood 79. Studying Bill Barr speaking. I noticed he blinks really fast when he says things we call kayfabe. When he doesn't blink fast when he speaks, his mind they don't like. Yep. And Burning Bright can blink almost as fast as Bill Barr.
Almost.
Watch Bill Barr's speech to Notre Dame back in like 2020. Amazing. $5, Starborn 01. People say the wife defaced the flag because her neighbor had a Trump sign with bad language when she talked to him. He called her a Zionist, so she retaliated. I'm not sure how true this is. I don't think turning it upside down is defacing it.
No, the Trump, one of their neighbors had a sign that said like F Trump or something. And so in retaliation to that, allegedly, Alito's wife put up the upside down flag.
Right after the stolen election?
On January 17th. Like days before the inauguration. And yeah.
Whatever. These cover stories are deliberately retarded.
Yeah.
$2, Keith O'Higgins. Mrs. Alito's actions are the perfect definition of lesbian sex. Never send a woman to do a man's job. Mohab. But
Thanks,
do
Keith.
send Michelle Obama.
It's not a woman.
$2, Freight Awakening. I give CanCon 2 years to live based on his Taco Bell diet. Plus, he's eating people. Soylent Green was a documentary. Change your ways, Brian. Go, Pat, go.
Change your ways, Brian. I think everybody just needs to comment on Twitter to anything Brian posts and just say change your ways until
your
he
ways.
stops eating Taco Bell.
Yeah, cannabis conservative. $10, C.A. Prejean. John, diametrically opposed political views in a relationship destroys a relationship. I know from experience, marriage of 33 years destroyed over this shit. Thank you for the super chat.
I feel you.
33 years is a really long time for it to continue to go and then just end it. It's pretty.
Yeah, mine was much shorter than that.
Man, people went 2 directions spiritually in 2020. You
Yeah.
know, like it's at that point, it's not even about the politics. Like, sure, the politics are a disagreement, but there's something much deeper.
Yes.
I don't even think it was 2020. It was like 2020, people were going different directions, but it was 2021 that cemented it because the inauguration of Joe Biden for me was like, that was the breaking point. It was me saying, this doesn't make any sense. And the ex-wife at the time being like, you're fucking insane. And that's where the shift happened.
Yep. $10. Sundberg 2626. I thought on Ivan Raiklen video regarding the deep state target list.
We've been over that.
Been over it. Thank you so much for the super chat. $5. Some G 33K SMB is stupid, fat, drunken, POS. Mike Johnson's mom should have swallowed. Chris Paul, I don't believe that. Who's SMB?
Saul Montez Bradley.
Oh, yeah, he is a freaking fat, drunken piece of shit. Okay. $1. Keith O'Higgins, Monday evening quarterbacks on Badlands. That's our name. Don't wear it out. $2. Freight Awakening, Sepatown, Nay No to Pence. Shamey Dame, and Footy Tai, Sadate Mohap, Pootie Tang.
What?
I don't know.
Oh, also,
That was a great read.
Thank you.
I forgot to say, I think Brad is starting a new like midnight hour type show. It'll be on, I don't know what days yet, but that'll be pretty fun. It'll be like a late show, like even after the power hour.
Nice.
A couple times a week. So that'll be coming
Very
soon
nice.
too.
$2
Made me think of that. but-
Snackaroos. It's Mat Tomidai. Thank you.
I'll never say it right.
Very impressive that you gave us the pronunciation, though. $10 Secrets. Dolly the Sheep. Dolly the Sheep was 1988. That's 35 years ago, if that's true. Think what they have hiding now. Well, you know, back in 1966, the Starship Enterprise was able to almost get to warp 10. Think about what they have now. $10, the final demand. I've ranted this before. You guys are being suppressed on Rumble, etc. Did it ever occur to you guys that you aren't being censored by black hats? Cash treated John how? We are all on Trump time. Patience. Yes, we know. We
has
have
occurred.
obviously considered this.
It has occurred to us. Yes. And we think that's likely the situation.
And it still blows big goats. $20 Peachy Grits. This $20 is for a clip of Patrick's dancing to be played every time you have good news to share. Please love me some Patrick. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you picked the swing too, because I'm a little better at that than I am the Roomba.
They're all great, man. I just love your
Thanks.
facial expressions in this one.
Dude, you gotta watch these people when they're doing these dances.
I'm watching right now, man.
My wife's coach is a Russian guy, and when he dances the swing, it's like this grin that fills up his entire face. It's part of the art form. $1 BS Girl 1950. The 3 shows I stopped listening to. I did like Ash with Kate though. Thank you very much. $2 Curtis Good. John, can you post the link to your interview with General Flynn and Boone Cutler?
Yes.
I think just Googling John Harold, Jen Flynn, and Boone, although, you know, Rumble's search engine might not catch it.
I can find it here. Hold on.
Awesome. $2 Counterinsurgent Patrick, and then a link to Rumble. Oh, Trump teases that maybe he's in his 3rd term. Thank you very much, Counterinsurgent, for sending that link. $2 A Justice Cooper King Charles portrait message. I mean, I heard if you like fold it over onto itself, it makes like Satan or something.
This is a weird portrait regardless.
Yeah, really, really, really weird. $2 Zen Papa. Remember when Q spoke of Red October? I think Q was speaking of most all of American business, and as such, the country and economy going into the red right before the election.
That's interesting.
Very much be so.
I like that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's valid. $2 Kenesi Fam. Also, during President Trump's speech, he said, when the polls close on November 4th. What? I need to know more, but wow, what? November 4th?
I don't know. I haven't watched the speech yet tonight, so. And honestly, full disclosure, I probably won't end up watching any of that speech. I'll just catch the clips on Twitter as they come up. So.
$5 GSP Girl. I thought Trump saying 3rd term was a bigger Devo thing. My jaw dropped at the time watching live. You know, what is the explanation in Normie World?
Like,
Right?
why would he say any of that stuff? Why would he even hint that this next one is going to be his 3rd term? Makes no sense.
None.
Unless there might be something else going on.
Yeah. $11. Diana D11 just in from drinks at the Comedy Mothership. Great. Totally awake friend is security there and treated me at the bar. We'll rewind later for full DPH. Love y'all so much. Thanks for all you do. And thank you, Diana D11. $1. Keith Higgins. The Cotton Candy Planet was spotted by Klingons near Uranus. Thank you very much.
Sure.
The Cotton Candy Planet. The Puffy Jupiters. $10 Political Caviar. Congratulations on number 250. Hey, guys. Yeah. Episode 250, give or take.
Crazy.
Yeah.
We say give or take because when I started numbering the episodes, I didn't want to go back and count to see how many I had done already. But I was like, I'm pretty sure it's probably around 50. And so we just started at 50 and started counting from there. And now we're at 250. It's probably honestly more than that, but we're going to call it 250.
I like it. 10. Okay. Thank you so much, Political Caviar. $5. Oh, wait. $10, Political Caviar. Congratulations on 250. I'm proud to be here and give an excuse for my cheap ass to donate. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Brilliant. $5, another $1.79. Patrick, those same researchers just measured the colors of your shirt and found that you would be lighter on your feet dancing if you add a little more orange. Next time I will do it, dude. Thank you so much. Unless you're a girl, in which case it's, I call everybody dude. $10. NV Runner, great show again. Thank you very much. $5, best Nani ever. Patrick, you have the smooth moves. Hubby and I took salsa dance lessons. So much fun. Yeah, it is so much fun. And thank you very much for that compliment. I really appreciate it. I'm just trying to make myself presentable on the dance floor. $2, Zen Papa. There's a chance that I'm one of the youngest watching. I was 16 when I first woke up, and I am now 20.
Wow,
thank you for helping so many through all of this. And I know that 20-year-olds don't exactly have lots of dollars to throw around. So thank you very much for the super chat. And bring some of your friends, Zen Papa. We need Gen Z.
We got to get you to a GART, man.
Yeah, can we like have a meeting so that we can focus group this dude?
Yeah, just this one guy.
Yeah.
Or girl, I guess. Well, Papa.
If we could find the young people watching this show and figure out how they arrived, because young people don't spend tons of money, but at the same time, they're going to be around. And so, well,
They also create trends too. You know, they're like culture movers.
Zen Papa, you need to tag me on Twitter and we need to have a discussion.
Indeed. 20 years old. I mean, that's like a unicorn for us.
Yeah.
$5, Squigs 1618. JFC. So even space is fake, huh? What is the best documentary on fake space, planets, etc. that you can recommend? You need to go to bitshoot.com and just type flat earth. Or go to yandex.com and type flat earth. Although you'd be better off on BitChute, BITCHUTE. And get ready for a ride. $9, Mesmerist. I have asked him many times about the fake war, and he always says, it's not where I live. So now I've stopped asking him. He also went on his usual holiday every year. Mesmerist is the one who did the other super chat about the Ukrainian she knows who lives there.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, no, it's just not where I live. You know, they faked nuclear bombs. They faked the test in White Sands by having two separate crews put giant dynamite piles, ultra giant, mega stacks of enormous amounts of dynamite, and each one thought the other side was the side that had the actual nuke.
Shut up.
Thank you, Mesmerist. And then Ms. Truth Seeker 1776 is now a monthly supporter. Thank you so very much for that. And finally, wow, coming in at the finish line, $100 super chat. Thank you so very much. Where we go one, we go all. Joe, they have to slow down your reach. You know you guys are right over the target.
Thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Guys, we got to do something fun for election night.
Oh, we're going to have some election night coverage. You just wait.
Yeah.
It'll be great. That was a lot of rants tonight. That's great.
We really cleaned up on the Liberty Den last night too. Guys, thank you so much for being generous to us on the super chats recently.
Yeah. And just always, you guys are great. Kaninzi fam, these are Rumble rants, Patrick, not super chats. Yeah.
Okay.
Patrick.
All right, you're right. I know. I call them super chats anyway. I can't help it. Dude, when I go to Minuti Coffee, it causes me physical pain to refer to it as a gigante latte instead of a venti latte.
Why does... Okay, look at this person's. Why do they have that little Rumble check mark? What does that mean?
What?
Oh, they're just verified.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what any of that means. I know that the rook in red means monthly supporter.
Yep. Okay, so the check mark is verified. Then it's Rumble Premium user. Then it's sub, and then it's supporter plus.
Well, hi, Kneezy fam. They got
Kneezy
a
fam.
badge system.
Yeah.
I
And then
love it.
PJ Corrigan says the absolute best flat earth proof. Check out my video.
Rumble.com. Very convincing flat earth video. I will check it out. Is that your video? Awesome. PJ Corrigan. I'll check that out.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it. Be sure to tune in Monday, 9 Eastern for the debut pilot episode of Hindsight 2020 Hindsight. We'll figure out the order.
Pilot, we're going to iron out the kinks and then do the real first episode the following week.
Yeah, I can't wait. So right here on Badlands. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Chris. And thank all of you for watching. We appreciate you all. We will see you next weekend.
Witness the motion picture event that is being called fucking amazeballs.
Do you see the difference in the M there?
It's go time. 25 later on my.
You got a seriously weird ass way of looking at shit.
If you look at the waviness of the little flag that comes out of the R is wavy. The one in the first hump in the M is not wavy. It's just a pure arc. Does that make sense?
We want to warn our viewers that these are extremely graphic images.
Give me a second, dude. This is more autistic than I've ever been before.